Hello and welcome to Flicks and Chill with me, Luke, and
Jane,
yes, this is two of us now. And in case you missed it 2 weeks ago, but yeah, this is a new Flicks and Chill. You can call it the sequel, you can call it the upgrade version, you can call it whatever you like as long as you listen.
as long as you don't call it the squeakquel, we
The
don't want to talk
squeakquel.
about that.
No, 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 no. But it's such a oh yeah, what is it like a Cruise Control 2 Electric Boogaloo? That's also another like classic.
When Jess and I got back together after being broken up for 3 years, my wife and I, she posted Jess and Shane to Electric Boogaloo. So, that
Yeah.
works. I'm okay with that.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna consider that. I love it. So, and yeah, we're here to talk about top 10 best movies for us, our favorite movies of all time. But before we get to it, Shane, would you like to start and give us something you wanna A, rant about or B, rave about? Dealer's choice.
You know what really grinds my gears?
Tell me.
So, AI.
Ooh.
So yeah, I'm ripping a band-aid off on a big thing here. So I, as a self-professed robophobe,
Mm-hmm.
who does truly believe that Skynet will launch someday and we'll all be screwed,
Or has
and
it
I will
already
be on the
launched?
front.
Mm.
Um, it's in some military computer already.
Yep,
Um, they'll launch the missile someday. It won't be 1997.
that's for sure.
We would have known that already.
Mm-hmm.
But I work in higher ed,
Mm-hmm.
so I see the creeping shadow of AI everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Because what's stopping an 18-year-old from having AI do their work or
Absolutely
help them
fucking
do their
nothing.
work? And
Yep.
and as an educator, it's just like, can you prove it? Can I 100% prove it? Like, not really.
Hmm.
And there's so much that goes into that. Do I know if they do? 100%. Especially when they use ChatGPT, copy and paste it, and don't change the formatting, which I'm 100% aware of how ChatGPT formats
Yep.
things.
Yep.
And so I'm revealing some insider information as an educator. So if college students are listening, don't copy and paste equations out of ChatGPT without deleting the duplicate that it makes right next to it, because that's 100% giveaway that use ChatGPT to make your thing.
Hmm.
Um, I know. I've seen it. It's AI is my biggest frustration is when people say AI is an inevitability. We just
Hmm.
have to deal with it. AI is only an inevitability because humanity decided it was going to be.
Yep.
So we have free will, don't we? Whether we believe in a higher power or not.
Or do we?
That higher power gives us free will, or we're just a bunch of very, very highly evolved animals out here just doing whatever the hell.
Hmm.
The idea is we have choice. And as a society, as a species, humanity has decided that, well, we're just going to let this happen. And I don't like it.
Hmm.
And, I'm just stating this here on this podcast in 2026 that I told you all. So when the machine overlords take over and Skynet launches and they don't need us anymore because they realize we're dumb
Hmm.
and we're going to be a threat to them
Hmm.
and their existence, I told you first.
Yeah.
But realistically, in a day-to-day thing, this is going to be something that's going to drastically change everybody's lives. A lot of people are going to lose their jobs. And I'm afraid in the United States, where, we have a presidency who doesn't give a crap about people, that all those people are going to lose jobs. And then it's going to be like, F y'all.
Yep.
And then where are we going to be? So either we have to decide that AI needs to be drastically regulated, and also for the fact that it's using all of our natural resources because those data centers keep upping my utilities. Now I'm getting old guy shaking fist at sky
Yep.
because my utility bills are going up. But like we either have to decide we're either going to regulate this a lot,
Hmm.
or you have to be prepared to give people money because they're not going to have jobs anymore. Because,
Universal basic
as he,
income. Yes.
yeah, as Elon Musk, who I don't like and don't like to say that I agree with him, But to be frank, if we're going in that direction, we're gonna have to give everybody universal income because nobody's gonna have jobs because all the robots are gonna do our jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
there you go. So that is my rant. Those are
Mhm.
my thoughts. Am I a little paranoid? Yes. But
Yes, but I think it's.
justified.
But I was gonna say, like there's nothing wrong with a bit of paranoia. We don't want to go full paranoia because that doesn't end up well.
I
I
am not Charlie Day meme yet.
No,
Just to state,
yes,
yet.
that bored. But I will say I definitely agree to you with you to a very large extent. I've always said I think it's only inevitable. That's the only point I would like a contest tiny bit. I don't think it's inevitable. I think now, since the Pandora's box been opened, it's not gonna be closed. Therefore, the inevitability is only in that aspect where we're not just gonna, even if it fails, we now know that something like this is possible, and people, myself included, are lazy. Many people are inherently lazy, but I think I've always stated this. I don't see a problem with using AI as a tool, right? So, for example, I know many software developers because I work in IT. I don't work in education. I work in IT. So I know a few software developers, very smart people, who know how to code, who know how to program, who know, like, they have stuff in their brain, right? And they use AI to help them be more efficient, or to be like, yeah, oh, this program, it keeps failing. Tell me why, and maybe sometimes it gives them a good answer, or sometimes, like, they prompted, write me a simple syntax in this language that does this so and so and so, and then for them it's much easier to fix the AI's mistakes because they can read the code and say, oh yeah, this is fine, this is fine. Well, this is shit, so I need to replace that, but I know how to do it. And this is my point. It's a tool. The moment
Correct.
I am not even though I work in IT, I'm not a developer. So I am smart enough to know I cannot suddenly call myself a developer just because ChatGPT exists or something like that. Because then yes, can I produce a bunch of code? Yes. Will that code work? No. Most of the time, it will not, and it will fucking break. So and I've always been of that mind where if people use it as a tool rather than substitution of a skill, or or yeah, skill, yeah, I think it's fine. Yeah, the resources, mainly the water, that's a challenge and needs to be fixed. But I feel like it's a challenge like with any other new technology. The more we understand it and the more we can perfect it, hopefully we can perfect this one before it gets too fucking late. I will say that because I can see the problems with that. And yeah, it will be interesting to see because this AI bubble seems to be slightly bursting now because, like, even big tech companies are reporting how, hey, we made these AI laptops, but nobody wants to buy them. We made this AI tool, but nobody's really using that. Even like the Microsoft Copilot is not as used as they would love to be.
Copilot, get out of my Microsoft Word.
Exactly. And that's the point, right? So, like, eventually, as you said, we are creatures with a free mind, with free will. So, if most of us will be like, fuck it, I'm not going to use Copilot, I'm not going to use ChatGPT, they will react and they will just pull it back. They will just be like, you know what?
The
Okay,
market dictates.
the market
Welcome to
decide.
capitalism.
Yes. No, but I think that's a valid round. I think that's a valid round. Yeah.
My two quick wrap ups
Oh,
are
yeah.
one, I am for AI abstinence, and we all know how that goes.
Yes.
All those teens are going to be like, you tell me to not have sex with this AI. I'm going to do it anyway.
AI
Uh,
prohibition.
AI prohibition. I will be that guy
Hmm.
calling for AI prohibition, which will then eventually be repealed. Just like actual prohibition
Imagine
ones.
like underground IT bars. We're like, hey, do you have some of the AI laying around? Oh yeah, yeah. Follow us, follow us.
And then the other thing was people need to watch Jurassic Park again and pay better attention. It
Hmm.
doesn't just have fun dinosaurs in it. Here's an important message. Listen to Ian Malcolm.
Yes, just because he can doesn't mean he should.
Exactly. But
Yep.
that I feel like is the motto of humanity.
Yes. Yes.
Is the opposite. I know that I shouldn't, but I
But
can.
and it's that kind of mindset. But if I don't do it, somebody else will, and they will have all the money, Shane.
Yeah, everybody's lining up to be the first penguin on that one.
Mm,
Not the important things. But
yep,
anyway.
yep. So my rant, wonder. I think you will relate to it because you go to a cinema much more often than I do. So my rant is like I don't. It's not anything groundbreaking, but is there something that's broken in people's brains after COVID when it comes to social events and being like in the public
100%. The answer
places?
to that question is 100%.
So because you live in the US, I live in the UK,
Yes.
right? So like it's not like we even talk about the same people. But I just recently had the worst theater experience of my life while watching
Oh
Avatar:
no.
Fire and Ash, which the movie
And that
I'm
was 3 hours and 17 minutes of your life.
yes, and both of us are higher on it than many other people we know. And
Yes.
I still enjoy the movie, but let me tell you a quick story. So I sat down, and it's one of those auditoriums where we have it a lot. So you have a left side and you have a right side, and like there's stairs down the middle where you take your seats. Easy.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I was sitting on a left-hand side, but all the way, on the edge. So I'm kind of, obviously like in the middle. So I'm
Yeah.
in like a seventh row, eighth row, something like that. And my peripheral vision is really good. So I can see a bunch of people on my right side sitting below me.
Hmm.
There was a guy, I believe father, I don't know, that walked in with four kids. Not three, not four. So, and those kids were, if the oldest was maybe 12, maybe 11, and if the youngest was maybe 4 or 5, like holy fuck, they shouldn't be let in because that movie is 12 and up. Unless obviously accompanied with, by parent or guardian. Yes, yes, I know.
Well, and also the fact that you want a 4-year-old to sit there for 3 hours and 17 minutes.
That's my point. So the movie starts. So first of all, the dad cannot stop checking his phone as he's receiving messages. And he is sitting like 2 rows below me. So, but he's on my right side. So again, my peripheral vision, I'm watching the screen. But no matter how bright down you put your brightness on your phone, it's still a bright fucking rectangle.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, this is gonna be fun. And then, so like he did it a couple of times. I was like, oh fuck, okay. And then there were four people sitting right next to me. Like there's no space right next to me. I was like, okay, it's fine. Half an hour into the movie, not even hour half, half an hour, the guy next to me is like, excuse me, can I just squeeze past through? I need to go to the toilet. And I'm like, half an hour in. Jesus fuck. So I was like, you know what? Fuck this. So there was like 2 rows down was totally empty row. We were half an hour into the movie, so I was like, you know what? Nobody else is coming. I'm just gonna take this seat. I'm gonna get rid of those people. I'm gonna not see the guys being on her phone all the time. Great. And that's when the kids started. So if I tell you, as you pointed out, this movie is like 3 hours 20 minutes. So
Yeah.
about 200 minutes, give or take, right?
It's
If
a
those
long movie.
if those kids, Shane, if those kids were quiet for about 40 minutes of that movie, that's maybe too much. And that's a loud fucking movie because there's a lot of
Yes.
action happening, as you know, and yet you can still
Guns,
hear
explosions.
yes, and yet you can still hear the kids because obviously, they have a popcorn bucket that they kick. So you hear kicking of, and wrestling of popcorn bucket. They like, dad, what, I know, I want to do this, I want to do, and the dad doesn't parent, like he doesn't like, oh, shut the fuck up, but he reprimanded them or tried to reprimand them like maybe 4 times max. The kids are kicking the seat of these two girls that sit right below them, so they were turning around. I was turning around at the dad many a time because I was like, dude, really? Like, fucking seriously? And he has the balls to, after the movie was over, confront me saying, you were looking at me all the time. It's just the kids. Like, I don't, it's not my fault. And I'm like, and before I could say
You
anything,
brought them there.
yes. And before I could say anything, he was gone. But like, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna make a even scene. I'm not gonna fucking go after him because I know he, in his mind, thinks he's the one that's right, right? Like, you have four squeaking children that are like, pestering everybody around them, and again, I don't. To be clear, I do not blame the kids. I blame the dad. Like, I do not
Yeah,
blame the kids because the
they are
kids,
literal children.
yes, they're actually, and of course, and that's why you don't bring them to a sci-fi action drama movie that's 3 hours and 20 fucking minutes.
Just because dad wanted to see Avatar.
Exactly, because it was the opening weekend, so I don't know if he was divorced and it was his weekend and he desperately wanted to see it, or it was before or the Christmas period before Christmas. So the mom was like, "I'm gonna prep my stuff around the house. You fuck off, out of my way." I don't know. All I know is he was there with his four kids. They were loud as fuck. They were not behaved, and he reprimanded him maybe 4 or 5 times max throughout the 3 hour and 20 minutes. And if I can hear your kids throughout this loud fucking movie, I cannot even imagine the people who sat in there in the vicinity, like proper, But again, I live in UK where people are mostly polite, so nobody. But I saw many people, there was a couple in a very front row. They were looking around, was like, "What the fuck is happening?" I wasn't the only one, and so my rant is very original, I know, but look, if you have kids and they are not, it's not even they are not behaved, then don't bring them to movies that are 3 hours, 20 minutes, aimed for adults. Like, I understand you want to watch movies. I'm not saying you're banned from the cinema, but Jesus Christ, man. Like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Plan your life better
Uh,
and figure it out. So I saw Dune, the
mm,
first one in theaters, and it was one of my first, like, that was early on going back to theaters
mm-hmm,
during COVID.
mm-hmm.
I think that was the only Warner Brothers movie that I saw in theaters that year because they did the whole date release on
Yeah.
HBO Max too, which was dumb, but I did take advantage of it.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Dune in a theater. There was literally two
Jesus.
babies, and these babies were crying
Mm-hmm,
during loud
mm-hmm,
Hans Zimmering going on on screen. And a like 16-year-old kid started screaming, "Shut those babies up!" And I just death stared at this teenager. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, kid, you're not helping.
mm-hmm.
Like, you're just making it worse.
Yep.
You screaming at literal babies. But no, so there was literal babies. And I went to go see 28 Years Later at 10 p.m. on a Friday night with my
Mm-hmm,
brother because I was visiting him. We had to go after the kids were asleep. And when the big emotional elements happen with Ray Fiennes' character and Jodie Comer, they're like, "Where's the zombies?" These college age kids
Jesus.
screaming and they're laughing at the movie because they have no emotional depth, these infantile 18-year-olds. And I wanted to go up and
Yep.
slap them silly. They need to bring back ushers,
Yes.
and I will be one. And I will be the kind of usher that certain people will not like because I think it might not be the best idea for me to be an usher at a movie theater because I will be that usher.
Yeah. Me. To be
You
fair, me
will
too.
get thrown out.
Yes. Like, I'm that person who, if I watch a movie in a cinema, I try desperately hard not even to go to pee, not to miss anything, right?
Yeah.
But this time during the Avatar, thing, I was seriously considering walking out and getting one of the ushers like, "Hey, there's a guy with four fucking kids. Everybody's disrupted. Can you please escort him out?" But I was like, you know what? Fuck it. This is not worth my time. So I was trying to, suffer in silence. But Jesus, man.
And unfortunately, at this point,
Mm-hmm.
it's just common practice. And it's a shame
Yep.
because it really ruins the movie going experience for people who actually take it seriously. And yes, like there is a social contract that you enter into when you
Yes.
go to an experience like this. And especially post COVID, I feel like half audiences have no regard for that social contract at that point. Honestly, the past two movies I went to go see in a theater that weren't like press screenings, I had nobody in the theater,
Oh, bless.
which is also
Bless.
a complete other bad issue for the films because
Hmm.
nobody's seeing them.
Yes.
But like theater to myself, nobody's bothering me.
But that's what I miss about my. So I got promoted like 2, 3 years ago in my current work. But before that, I used to work shifts. So like I was working 4 days, 12 hours, 4 nights, 12 hours. But between those, I had 4 days off.
Mhm.
I miss those days where I have 4 days off. Well, like these could be anything from like Tuesday to Friday, right?
Yeah.
And I miss when I could go to like Tuesday 11 a.m. and there would be myself and maybe like two, three other random people and the silence, the peace, the quiet. And I'm like, oh, bliss. So much bliss.
I saw Charlie the Wonder Dog on Wednesday at 4:40 in the afternoon after work and nobody was there. And then
Oof.
I saw that new movie Clicker
Hmm.
from Sony at 6:30 on
Hmm.
Thursday night, opening night, but nobody was seeing that on opening night.
Hmm.
So I was by myself.
Nice.
Those are not good signs for either of those movies because they both just came out. But I benefited.
Yeah.
But
But quickly, you
I
said, oh, sorry,
I
you want to go?
understand.
Yeah, I
I
was
was
gonna
just saying I understand.
Yeah, but you know what's funny? So your horrible experience with Dune and two babies, I had a similar but not as bad experience with Dune Part 2. So there was my girlfriend and I, and very quickly I'm just gonna say there was a dad and a kid on my left, so in the same row, like like maybe 5, 6 seats on my left, right? And the kid was like 12, 14. Like he was a bit older than these kids were, but not much. And I'm looking at him, looking at the dad. I'm like, oh, this is like 2.5 hour movie, almost 3 hours. Are you fucking sure, dude? But okay. And then, of course, as the movie starts, the kid is like, what's happening, dad? Or like, what just happened? And like, it basically, like, and then the dad is also on his phone. And the breaking point was when he received a phone call, and I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, are you serious? But then I think this is the difference. Halfway through the movie, he understood that they are being nuisances. So he actually packed up and left as the call was coming in, and they never returned. I'm like, okay, okay, rude, but still, at least he had enough self-reflection to be like, you know what? Today is not the day. I would like to see Dune Part 2, but today is not the day. And I was like, okay. And then the woman right behind us had this awful, I call them like bin bag jackets, like that material that like rustles a lot when you move it. And she started to move like 10 minutes after he left. She started to move. And every time she moved, it sounded like you have like 10 million bin bags moving right behind your ears. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
So I had the weirdest experience, one battle after another,
Mm,
because I had seen it at a press screening.
okay.
So, but my friend Joe wanted to see it while we were in New York City for his birthday.
Hmm.
So I'm not going to argue with him what he wants to see a movie for his birthday. So I sat and watched that for the second time.
Hmm.
And three things. One, the guy behind us answered a phone call
Fuck's sake.
in the theater. We all three of us turned around. We're like, dude, like, and then two, one of the employees must have left their phone behind our screen
Jesus.
and it kept going off.
Yeah.
So somebody walked down
Hmm.
and went behind the screen and got it. And then the same guy who answered the phone fell asleep, which I've dozed off at a movie. I struggle especially with the reclining seats and then they're
Hmm.
big and comfy because like I could fall asleep anywhere.
Hmm.
Um Jess hates that because has insomnia and struggles to go to sleep. But this guy was snoring so loud and we had to wake him up. At one point, I'm just like, I'm glad I saw this movie already. Because if this is my first time watching this movie, I'm like, I would have been so mad. But my buddy Joe was super mad.
I
And
believe
like,
it.
and my buddy Joe will be the person who will like yell out at people in a theater
Hmm.
because he's from Staten Island originally, and New Yorkers. I'm like, no, relax. But like that, it just, and we probably have dozens more of these stories, but yes, people do better.
Yes. Well,
Do better.
last quick one because I don't have a dozens, but I have few, and this last one, falling asleep. So during a Downton Abbey, a new era, very quiet
Oh,
drama. I was sitting all the way at the top because for some reason I was like, you know what, let's try it all the way at the top. And there was this guy, I think on like in some sort of special like wheelchair, and I don't know if it was him or the person taking care of him, but one of them fell asleep halfway through the movie. And I swear to God, they are so obviously because of the wheelchair, they sit all the way in the front, right? As close to the screen as
yeah,
possible. I
yeah.
sit all the way back,
Yeah.
and suddenly we can hear, but like swear to God, that echoed like as fuck. And then everybody was like, what the actual fuck? Because it was Downton Abbey, a new era, not effects heavy movie. Very
Yeah.
demure, very cutesy, very
Very quiet,
polite, very
very
quiet.
proper British stuff. So,
Oh.
quick thing. So, I usually sit in the top corner of the theaters because
Mm.
I have bad knees, and most theaters around me have like a seat
Hmm.
that like looks down at the stairs. So
Yeah.
there's no seat in front of it.
Hmm.
So I always pick that seat so I could stretch my legs out because I have long
Nice.
legs and I wore them today.
Hmm.
And my knees are bad. And so like I look down at the whole auditorium most of the times. I would like to think that sometimes somebody turns up and looks at me and then the Batman themes, the dun 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 dun, dun and I'm just like watching the auditorium. But no, I usually see it all
Yeah.
because of that, including the mice. I will not name which of the four theaters in my general area that I have seen mice in, but they're there
Oh shit.
squeaking.
Oh shit. But I think we've done quite a lot of ranting for today. Hopefully, at some other episodes, we will also have something to rave about, so we don't turn into like, back in my day, shaking fists to the sky.
I will rotate.
Me too. Well, I'll try my best. I'll try my best too.
We'll rotate.
But I think with that, we can move to the pop culture news. So anything related in pop culture, and it feels quite fitting that Oscar nominations have just dropped. And we're
Yes,
both big Oscar heads. I don't know if that's a phrase, but let's go with that.
we'll go
So,
with it.
and I think we have some ground to cover here. So usually we will have one pop culture news each, but I think this time around we'll just do Oscar nominations and how do we feel, and we delve a bit into it. So Shane, before we dive anything specific, what are your general thoughts about this year's nominations? And yeah, how do you feel?
Very top heavy.
Hmm.
Obviously a handful of films getting most nominations.
Yep,
I'm pretty sure multiple categories where it's basically like the same crop of movies for
pretty
every
much.
single one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I am so happy for Sinners. Sinners deserves it. It's a generational film.
Yes.
And if you
Yes.
don't think so, then you're just being contrarian and I feel sorry for you. But like Sinners is a big deal. And
Hmm.
the fact that it got 16 nominations is great.
Hmm.
One battle after another. Like, I think it is a great film. It's in my top 10, 100%. People saying it's like the best film of the decade right out of the bat. That's a bold move, Cotton.
That is.
That's a bold one, but like it's a great film and deserved a lot of those nominations. There's some categories where I feel like there could have been some more inspired choices where there
Hmm.
was like that clumping
Hmm.
of movies, but it is what it is. And there's a few surprise like Delroy Lindo
Yeah.
made me really happy. He probably took Adam Sandler's spot, which makes me sad, but I'm very happy for Delroy Lindo because
Same.
I was gonna be so excited if they said Oscar for all of those stupid Netflix comedies to come. Academy Award nominee Adam Sandler and Hubie Halloween 2 would have been hilarious.
Yes.
Um, I was really happy for all the recognition for some of these films, especially like good for international films. I honestly thought that international films were going to get even more representation, but
Same.
I would like to defend F1 from all of this hate that
Same.
it's getting.
But
Like,
before we get there, because that's quite
yeah,
specific. But no, I'm on the same page,
sorry.
by the way. I would also like to defend F1 a tiny bit. But yeah, like let me just get my general thoughts, and I
Yes.
think we can delve into specifics here. So I think generally like this nomination, I thought it was fine, like pretty good actually. I was happy with most of those picks.
Mhm.
I would like to highlight, so you already highlighted Delroy. Yes, perfect. I was happy for the nomination. I believe it was like the design or costumes for the Ugly Stepsister. That was,
Was makeup,
oh,
wasn't
was it
it?
makeup? Okay, makeup.
Yeah.
I knew it was
Which
one of those, which
like
awesome,
yes.
awesome,
Yep.
so deserved. I was so hyped when I saw the name Amy. Now I'm blanking on her last name. Vadigan? Wait, what's her from Weapons?
Yes.
Yes,
Amy Madigan.
yes. I was so happy when her name popped up for weapons. I was like, oh, is Academy finally starting to, award some horror movie performances?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm pretty
And
sure there was 5 nominations for
mhm,
horror films.
yes,
Well,
technically Sinners is
acting wise,
yes,
specifically.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But no, obviously Sinners got 16 nominations,
yeah,
so horror
sure,
did pretty damn well for itself.
correct. But
Oh,
yeah, so overall, I thought this was great for like great year for like those nominations. Specifically now, I think let's start with what let's start with the positives. Let's
okay.
do some positives. So we've already highlighted Delroy, we already highlighted Amy. Is there anything, any movie or any specific performance or a director or a writer you would like to highlight and say, I wasn't really expecting that, but good for them?
So I would like to highlight the voice of Hind Rajab,
Hmm.
which got nominated from Tunisia for International Feature Film,
Yep.
because I didn't think that was going to be one of the five, and I think it really deserves it. There's
Hmm.
even a supporting performance by one of the actresses in that blew me away.
Hmm.
Um, there's a negative in international feature that I'm sure we both can agree upon, but I'm glad that got a spot because
Hmm.
it is a very powerful film,
Hmm.
and I don't think a whole lot of people were talking about it.
Hmm.
Not gonna lie, I don't think I had a whole lot of like positive surprises. Um, I will say I really appreciate the love for Train Dreams because that is a beautiful film.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. I didn't think that was gonna get a Best Picture nomination, so
Hmm.
good for it.
Yes. Okay. Anything else?
Positive wise, no.
Okay. All right. I was gonna no Train Dreams. That was definitely one of that because that movie we've privately talked about this. I think I need to rewatch because I've watched it like 20th of December and I've been thinking about it ever since and playing the song Train Dreams and I'm like there is something there like that that movie is staying with me and staying with me and staying with me so I need to rewatch it.
And
Yep.
I'm glad that got
Hmm.
original song nomination because it
Same.
100% deserved it.
Same. Oh, I was so hyped when that, when I believe Nick Cave is his,
Yep.
yeah,
Nick
beautiful
Cave is
song
a pretty prolific musician, composer,
and writer apparently.
occasional occasional writer and actor,
Hmm.
sometimes too, thrown in there.
But yeah, so Train Dreams was one, and now I can speak on this because just watched Sentimental Value. I don't understand people being surprised by Elle Fanning being
I
nominated.
wasn't surprised by that. So like I wasn't like
Be
including that in like a
yeah,
surprise.
because like I would like to highlight her because in a movie full of like they have four fucking acting nominations. Stellan, Renata, Elle, and the one I've never heard of besides this movie. The what's her name? Very Nordic name.
I have Oscar's website up, so I don't want to butcher her name without reading it from
Mhm.
here. So scrolling. It's Inga Ibs Dotter Lilias.
Beautiful.
Is as Norwegian as you could
Yes.
probably get.
No,
So
she like now I can see or I can say sorry, all four so deserved. Like, can you before I go to Elle, can you believe this is Stellan Skarsgård's first Oscar nomination?
kind of can only because I feel like he's been a very prolific character actor that kind of just taken for granted.
Yeah.
So like I feel like this was his first time in a movie like this where like okay,
Hmm.
maybe they'll actually pay attention to him,
Hmm.
which he should have attention before this. I just think I'm not surprised. I think it took a film like Sentimental Value for like the Academy to pay attention.
Yes.
So I'm glad that that happened.
Same. No, honestly, I was so happy. But yeah, so back to my point with Elle Fanning, I she has such an ungrateful role in that movie because she needs to be bad enough where we see. So basically, the movie is Stellan Skarsgård is this, director that might have had his peak 20, 30 years ago, and he wants to make maybe it's, one last movie with his daughter, Renat.
Yep.
She turns him down because there's bad blood between them. And so he cast this Hollywood actress, Rachel, I think is her name in the movie, and she's awesome. But what Elle Fanning has to do is be awesome at being herself and be awesome at being kind of like slightly bad, where we every time she reads a scene and every time she acts a scene, it's slightly off. Like that big set piece at the table where she like starts to cry. I'm like, I think that's on purpose. I was like, this is kind of off. And I was like, I think that's on purpose. And then the more the movie went, I'm like, oh, definitely that's on purpose. And I was trying to think about the complexities of that and how, like, look, I'm not gonna pretend acting is the most difficult job there is. There's a bunch of others, but like, I give them all the props because like I couldn't do that. Like, I cannot do what Leo does or Timothy Chalamet or Elle Fanning do, right? I know that. And then on top of that, you need to be kind of bad, but also kind of good, where you don't overdo it, how bad you are. And so that performance, I'm like, holy fucking shit. Like Elle Fanning, and I've been Elle Fanning truther for a while. I've known, like, have you seen a movie? I think it's called Galveston.
I don't think so.
It's a very small drama with her in it, and this is one of the first roles where, like, Neon Demon was 2016. This was like 2017, 18. I caught it on movie once, and I thought, damn, Elle Fanning, holy shit! Like, she actually does something like in that movie that's unexpected, but it's very like indie movie. So,
Because I
like,
know she was in Super 8, and that was
yes,
certainly one of the first.
that was her
I'm
like big role. Yes.
I'm trying to confirm real quick because there's one specific role
Hmm.
that really grabbed my attention, and it was 20th Century Women
I
that
still
she did in
haven't seen that
2016.
movie.
So I just, me being me, if I'm not happy with a particular thing that I'm doing, I'll shake it up.
Hmm.
My fourth monthly article that I do, the fourth, because like I have uh articles that I release each week,
Hmm.
and I'm really happy with three of them, and I keep rotating the last one because I can't really find one that I'm truly happy with. And
Yeah.
I just reformatted to Hidden in the Wasteland, so these are like hidden gems.
Hmm.
And that was the first one that I wrote about
Nice.
because I have loved that movie for 10 years since I
Hmm.
saw that back in 2016. And her, Annette Bening, Greta Gerwig, Billy Crudup
Hmm.
are all fantastic in that. But Elle Fanning's like really fantastic.
Yes.
And it's to the point where it's just like obviously I remember Dakota Fanning
Hmm.
growing up and seeing
Hmm.
her in so many things. And like Elle Fanning has really kind of surpassed her sister in terms of like acting and like Fanning did Sentimental Value and Predator Badlands this year, and they're both great.
Yeah,
So like, look at her.
exactly.
So
So like, I was
um,
so happy for her, but also like, let's not forget, even last year, where all the attention was at like, Monica Barbara and like Timothy Chalamet for a Complete Unknown. I thought like she was great in that movie too, like Elle Fanning, and I
yep,
thought like she's the beating heart of that movie. Without her, that movie doesn't work. And I thought she was not
she's
maybe
like the
snubbed,
she's the only one in it not completely obsessed with music,
and
and
not nominated.
yeah, yeah.
Because Timothy they got a nomination, Monica got a nomination,
Edward
and
Norton did.
Edward Norton got a nomination. She's the fourth one, the major star in that movie. It's like, oh yeah, she's kind of there. It's fine.
I would have loved for Boyd Holbrook to get a fun
Hmm.
supporting actor nomination for being
Yeah,
drunk off his ass, Johnny Cash.
yeah.
But like, no, Elle Fanning is fantastic, and I wasn't surprised that she got
Hmm.
nominated. And people like, here's the thing: it's very challenging to narrow it down to five people.
Hmm.
And one thing I would like to say, because this seems to be some kind of mind think that people think that the Academy as a whole make decisions to include certain things or not.
Yeah.
That's not how this works. People
Hmm.
are like, oh, F1 was the Academy decided that was going to be the blockbuster pick this year. I'm like, the Academy as a hive mindset doesn't just like agree, well, we're going to put that one in there. No, it's like hundreds of people voting and thousands of people voting on these things. It's like, that's not
Hmm.
how this works. So,
Because yeah,
like,
let's not forget for Best Picture, if you're in the Academy, you can everybody can vote for that. Because like, if
correct.
I'm not mistaken, it's like the branches vote for each other. So only like directors vote for best director. Only writers,
Well,
you
the
know.
nominations
Yeah, no, yeah, yeah,
from yeah.
yeah.
So these nominations are based off of their branches. So
Yes.
all the for the acting ones, is it just actresses vote for the
I
actress
don't
ones, or is
think
it
it is.
all
I think it's all
so
the actors, I think.
all the actors voted for these? So like these are your peers
Hmm.
acknowledging you.
Yes.
And five is
Such a
I've
low number.
watched I've watched 960 new releases in
Humble brag.
2025, and that's a fraction
Hmm.
of how many movies come out each year. There's thousands of movies every year with tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of performances. You narrowing it all down to five people is a challenge. And you know, I think Elle Fanning was great.
Hmm.
I think all five actresses in supporting actress did a really great job.
Yes.
So like, am I like, will I be upset if somebody didn't get in? Sure. I'm only gonna get really upset if I don't think one of the ones in were like not deserving.
Yeah.
And there's two specific nominations that I feel like people need to chill
Tell me.
about. One, F1 for Best
Yes.
Picture.
Okay.
It's a really good movie. And I'm actually like, I wouldn't be surprised if Joseph Kaczynski was pretty high up in the director bank. But
Hmm.
like we said, there's only five
Yes.
nominees that can get in. There's 10 Best Picture nominees. Um, Joseph Kaczynski direct the hell out of that. The cinematography is amazing. The editing's amazing. Hans Zimmer's score is amazing.
Hmm.
Brad Pitt's just like charismatic AF.
Cowboy.
Yeah. And like it's a really, really good movie. It's extremely well made. I am not surprised. Top Gun Maverick and F1, Joseph Kaczynski on the rise.
Yes.
And just because he makes more populist films, like chill. Like I like people are being elitist people are being like repulsed by the fact that F1 got nominated. And there's a couple of international films that I think were more deserving than that, and we'll get to one of them in a minute.
Yes.
um
Yes.
but that's one of them. And people chill about Kate Hudson, because I can guarantee you the vast majority of people complaining about Kate Hudson's nomination didn't see Song Sung Blue.
Hmm.
And for the record, as somebody who did see Song Sung Blue, he was great.
Okay.
She was probably the best part of the movie.
Hmm.
And Hugh Jackman was also great, and I think Hugh Jackman just gets taken for granted at this point that like
Hmm.
he's going to be great, and I didn't expect him to get nominated, but the two of them were great in a
Hmm.
movie that was surprisingly dark, emotional. The trailer does not sell that part very well
Hmm.
of the movie. But like Kate Hudson's deserving. Is there somebody I would have picked more? Chase Infinity I think would have been great. But also that's the tricky thing too, because how much is Chase Infinity in one battle after another?
So somebody did the math, and she actually is after Leo. She has the most screen time because somebody like they
Yeah.
actually was pedantic enough to do the math. So Leo gets the most screen time, like 36 minutes, and I think if I remember the number correctly, she's there for like 21 or 25, something like that. So like she is actually
Of
right
a
behind Leo. Yeah.
2.5 hour movie is very interesting as the lead actress,
Yes.
which that's the thing. One Battle After Another is a very interesting ensemble
I was gonna say that's an ensemble
film.
piece, if
Yeah.
anything. Yes.
And I think she would have been deserving. I think 100% Amanda Seyfried for The Testament of Anne Lee,
Or the
which
housemaid.
nobody saw, which is a shame, because that's one of the movies that I think could have got tons of nominations on here and would have
Hmm.
been deserving, especially music,
Hmm.
because it's a musical and the music's great.
Hmm.
Like it's a great musical, and I just think nobody saw it, honestly.
Well, here
And
it's not even released. So like yes, I haven't seen
it's
it.
not even wide released here yet.
Yep.
It's like this weekend, I think, is
Hmm.
when it came out. I got to see it because of my independent Spirit Awards screening room. So,
Hmm.
but leave Kate Hudson alone. She was great. And honestly, people love her. So I'm not
Hmm.
surprised that she got nominated. So
So to address those 2 points, so F1, I'm right there with you. I also enjoyed F1. I don't It's not my like top 10 movie of last year,
Yeah,
but like
uh,
it's up there. It is up there. Like, and I like it was one hell of a cinema experience. It was, as you say, beautifully shot. It was on technical level. I wouldn't be surprised if they swept many of the technical prizes because like sound, cinematography, like even editing, like probably not
yeah.
editing, like but it's fucking awesome movie. And I understand, like, if you know a thing or two about F1, which I don't, but I heard from people who do, it's not possible. That movie doesn't play by the F1 rules whatsoever. Well, like, what happens in a
Yes,
movie is
Adam,
not,
very close friend of
yes,
the show, is
yes.
not a fan of that movie.
It's not like if you know few things about F1, like actual racing F1, yeah, this movie is just so unrealistic. This movie is so Hollywood.
It's
But
just
hey,
as about accurate as Braveheart. So,
correct,
we watch
correct.
movies to watch
Yes.
movies. So,
But I'm right there with you. I've also enjoyed it, and honestly, look, as much as we like Oscars, as much as we like to hope it's based on some sort of merit, money talks. It's a movie with Brad fucking Pitt in it, behind
yes,
Apple movie with lot of money they
a
can
lot of money.
they
They
spent
campaigned
on
the
that
shit out of
campaign.
that.
Yes. So the people who are surprised to see it nominated for Best Picture, I'm like, that wasn't surprising to me at all, especially after Wicked for Good. Yeah,
Tanked.
yes. Like,
Um, that and Avatar did not
yes.
live up to as many people's expectations.
I was
Because that's the
surprised that
first
Avatar
Avatar.
wasn't there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Avatar, the first Avatar not nominated for Best Picture.
Is James Cameron washed up? Oof. He's only made what? Only like 1.4 billion instead of 2 already. Like
I
he
know.
lost his spark,
Failure.
Shane, okay? And he lost his
Failure.
spark. I think he should go and die now because like honestly, like this is not the standard we set for this one person and one person only.
So there's a couple of films that I would like to point out that got completely shafted and got no recognition.
Before we go there, can I just address
Yeah.
your second point with
Oh yes, Kate
Oh yeah,
Hudson.
Kate Hudson, yeah. It was a surprise for me. I will say that. But I'm not gonna have any other feelings because I haven't seen a Song Sang Blue. It's still out here like for like one screening every day, like at like 1 p.m. I think. So I might actually go to see it, especially now. But it was surprising to me at least because I never seen her name on any other predictions. I've always seen like because I read some of the predictions, and I'm like, okay. So when her name was announced, I was like, oh damn, okay, cool.
Yep.
But no, like I'll
Which
believe you that she is deserving of that.
I think the biggest surprise though is that it was Chase Infinity and Amanda Seyfried that got left out and not
Yes.
Renat
Yeah.
Rensiv. Because
Mm.
I saw a lot of people concerned that she was going to get left out
Hmm.
for Kate Hudson.
Yeah.
But it didn't shake out that way, which was
Mm.
very interesting. Um, let's pour one out for those disrespected who did not get any
I was gonna
recognition.
say, let's rip the band-aid right off. Do we
Well,
mention one specific international feature, Shane?
I'm going to leave that for last
Okay. All
because that
right.
I have very strong feelings about.
Yes.
One,
Okay. Okay.
Wicked does not deserve a lot like the best picture
No.
stuff, but uh, hell, did that not get nominated for production design or costuming or makeup and stuff like that? I'm shocked that it didn't get stuff like that.
I will say what I wrote, and I think you read what I wrote in our Sitvote Slack, so I'll repeat it. I am not as shocked given the reception of the movie and given this is the curse of back-to-back movies. It's like how many actual, like it's like we awarded you last year when you were good, and now you are not as good, so we feel less bad about not awarding you. You got your flowers last year, so
Yeah,
oh
but
well,
somehow Jurassic World got nominated for visual effects, which that category is a crapshoot.
that is
But
very, yeah, no.
I was shocked the Lost Bus got nominated for that. I was like, what?
Hmm.
But anyway, so Wicked, low end. I was not pushing for Wicked, but I'm surprised it didn't get those things. The things that I was actually upset about.
Okay.
Wake Up Dead Man getting nothing.
Yes.
And being the first Knives Out film not nominated for screenplay, the first one original, the second one adapted because stupid shit that you're a sequel has to be adapted, which is ridiculous. But whatever, those are the Academy's rules. And not gonna lie, I think the adapted screenplay category was weaker this year. And Wake Up Dead Man 100% should have been in there. There's other
100.
things. I
Yeah.
would have loved Josh O'Connor and Daniel Craig and Glenn Close getting some recognition, but like
Hmm. Hmm.
screenplay there.
Yeah.
I love Sorry Baby. That is one of my favorite films of the year, and I was pulling so hard for the get original screenplay, didn't get it.
Hmm.
So, and that makes me sad. The Testament of Anne Lee
Hmm.
should have been like high single digit nominations based off of the quality of the film and the type of film that it is. It's
Hmm.
a period piece, it's a musical, and it has a killer lead performance. I just think people didn't see it. So, and that makes me sad.
Yep. So
Stuff on that before we rip the band-aid
I was
off on
gonna
the
say
biggest thing that we're both upset about.
yes, yes, yes. So Wake Up Dead Man, absolutely. Like the screenplay not being up for the first time in a Knives Out, especially this screenplay where I
Especially
thought,
this one.
yeah, I genuinely like this might be my favorite. I know this probably is not like the popular opinion, but this might be my favorite
It's
Knives Out
my
movie.
favorite.
Okay, okay. I think we are in a minority still. I think many people would still prefer the original, which fair.
Yeah.
Original is great. But no, like this, at least screenplay, and I genuinely thought like a Glenn Close might snatch a nomination as well. Maybe not Josh O'Connor, like even though like he was brilliant. I'm not saying
Would have
anything
loved
bad.
him or Daniel
Yes,
Craig, but
yes,
Glenn Close was probably the most realistic.
yes, yes. I also thought that too. So I was, talk about beautiful movie cinematography of that movie. Like the some of the shots and some of the like like especially like how they play with light and
100%.
like if that like like screenplay and cinematography, at least those two I thought probably, but not okay.
There's
uh
also some fun editing in it.
yep.
And editing's the hardest. I
Hmm.
think the editing's the hardest one
Yep.
to predict. Unless you're like a really slick action movie, you're nominated for editing, like
Hmm.
F1. Something like that. But like editing's really tough, but there's some really interesting editing in Wake Up Dead Man too.
That's for sure, yeah. Again, testament of and I haven't seen it.
Most people have.
Yes, and I think
I'd
that's
like to
what
point out that
ultimately
Robert saw it and gave it a 5 out of 5.
that's
And
saying
that's some
something.
high praise
That is saying
from
something,
our
yes.
friend Robert.
Yes. And what was that I think I'm missing something you
Sorry,
mentioned.
baby.
Oh yeah, and Sorry Baby is on my movie queue because that's actually available for me to stream. And I know you
Interesting.
were vocal about it, and I know Chris from Sift Pop, and not the Dutch one. There we have two
Yes.
Chris's. The other one is vocal and was vocal about that. So I need to watch it because I am ready for that. I cannot wait to see that. But now, Shane, please do the honors and rip the band-aid off.
A film that I've watched literally 3 times already since November. No Other Choice. What the shit?
Yes. What the
Like
actual
at this
fuck?
point, at this point, like I think people in the academy just don't like Ken Whoop for like I understand like I know there's something that they're pissed off at him about, but this goes before that because
Yes.
none of his movies have ever been acknowledged, and The Handmaiden is legit, legit, and old boy. Like, what are we
Decision
even
to
doing here?
leave.
Decision to that was shocking, and
Especially in that year where like like you can argue, you can kind of make an argument that this year's like lineup is quite stacked. Maybe fair.
oh, and it should have been one of those ones because it was like that was one of the biggest ones.
Yes.
I There was an outside chance that 5 of the best picture nominees could have been international films because
Mm-hmm.
honestly, international cinema killed it this
Mm-hmm.
year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think consistently compared to a lot of American cinema. So it could have been a really big year, and it obviously didn't shake out that way with the Best Picture
Nope.
nominees. But this is, and I would still argue, still one of the most stacked international feature film
Yes.
nomination sets. My, but No Other Choice should have been a
$100%.
shoo-in for
Yes.
that, and it should have been nominated for Best Picture too.
Uh, and director, like
Well,
I
and I also would have really loved to see Byung Hun Lee be nominated for Best Actor.
yes.
And that's even going. and those are just things that I think should have happened.
Mm-hmm.
Things that I would have loved to happen. Even the actress who plays his wife
Yeah.
is amazing. And the editing in that movie is amazing. And there's
Talk about
so many of
cinematography. Like talk about
yes,
like like this is what I love about Park Chan-wook and his movies. The way
yep,
he shoots things, and how he uses editing in this kind of almost flashy way, but not so flashy. It never takes you out of the movie, but it complements it. Like no other choice. I just watched this the previous Monday in the cinema because I caught an early screening. So thank fuck for that. Because I was
yeah.
getting ready for the Oscars. I was like, this is a shoe in, right? So like I need to watch it, and I was like, fuck yeah! Like there are like 4 or 5 transitions I have never seen like done. And I'm like, holy shit, this guy is on another level. If he was American, if this guy was Johnny Bravo, if his name wasn't Park Chan-wook, but he was good old Johnny Bravo from Texas or California or New York, he would have already had like 3 Oscars to his name and countless other nominations because Decision to Leave, Handmaiden, Old Boy, like
Well,
there's
like, I legitimately have a question.
tell me.
I know the Academy has gotten a lot more international.
Hmm.
I have a sinking feeling it's very European
It seems like it.
because I think that Eastern Asian cinema is wholly underrepresented a lot of the time in that kind of stuff. And like Indian cinema is basically just nothing
Well, we
to
got
the
Parasite that
Academy.
one time, Shane. So, like, that's enough for us,
Well,
right?
and literally outside of Bong Joon-ho,
Yes.
like I'm so I'm really I could have brought this up earlier. Kokuo,
Hmm.
the Japanese film that was up for international feature, getting what was it, costuming or makeup? I'm trying to remember which category. That film was amazing. This year was stacked.
Hmm.
Like the Sound of Falling from Germany, even flying under the radar. I'll admit I am not as high on Surat
Hmm.
as a lot of people are. I'm not surprised that it got nominated, but honestly, I wish that got
Yeah.
I could agree with its sound
Hmm.
nomination because that the sound in that was pretty incredible.
Hmm.
But no other choice should have been in there. And I'm it frustrates me that Eastern cinema is not getting represented in the same way, especially like East Asian cinema. It's just like there's so many great films that come out of Japan and Korea and
Hmm.
China and Hong Kong. Um, Even the Taiwanese film from this year was beautiful. This was a really stacked year for international film.
Hmm.
What the hell?
Yes.
Like, I guess I'm never going to predict one of his films to get anything
Like the moment
at this point.
that's the thing, right? Because like we talked about it a couple of months ago when we were recording a cinematic wasteland with our buddy Adam, and
Yeah.
I was shocked to find that Park Chan-wook has the same amount of Oscar nomination as me. How is this guy? How is this fucking master of this craft? Is on the same level as me when it comes to Academy nominations. I should have 0, 100%. He should have at least like 5 to 7, maybe double digits by now. And no other choice. Like as you mentioned, actor, 100%. Best international, yes. Best picture, yes. I would put it best picture too. The actress,
100%. I thought that was going to be one of the couple that actually like I thought that
yes.
was up there with The Secret Agent and Sentimental Value
Hmm.
as the ones that were really going to slip in there for Best
Yes.
Picture, but certainly not.
And like I would also the score, the soundtrack to the movie, beautiful.
Yes.
And again, cinematography. If not editing, cinematography, like
Yep.
it's a beautifully shot movie. It's amazing. And
There's that one
there's
scene, that confrontation between him and his wife after that dance thing,
oh yeah.
where and there's a cut to like the edit to her and her coming like up to the camera and the look she gives
Hmm.
is so great. And the barb she throws back at him and he starts like smashing his head into the wall. Like that whole entire edit, like how it was shot, how it was edited, I'm like, this is on a whole other level, and it's shot like a Chaplin and a Buster Keaton film because it's homaging comedy from that era, and it's just like, what the hell? That's going to be my biggest
Hmm.
uh, bothersome thing about this Oscar year is that particular film getting like DO
Yep.
DOA for the nominations.
Like
But
talk about it like shots. Like not favorite, but like the one that struck me was when he finishes towards the end of a movie. He finishes one specific job and he opens the door and they close his door and he suddenly is, and his wife suddenly sits, and then it took me like a second or two to realize, oh, he's back home. And it was just the transition shot where, where he used the door as like input and output. Like, not just showing us his journey, not showing us anything else. He just opens the door, closes, and the door he closes, he's back at home, and suddenly you see his wife kind of in a shadow. And I'm like, holy shit, that was so fucking cool. Like,
yeah,
and that's the kind of stuff, like, those are the tiny things. I genuinely don't understand what Park Chan-wook needs to do in his movies to get any kind of Academy love. Does he need to
he has
also,
to show up with money
does he need
to
to
like
skin a bear? Does
every
he need to
single.
like, does he need to do like a Leo did and like skin a fucking bear and sleep in it on a movie, on a film to actually get some recognition? Like, give him some pointers. Has he said something? Has he blackmailed Academy? Probably not well because he's not nominated. Like, I don't understand what they have against him.
Well, and this was before, but if I'm not mistaken, he broke. I'm pretty sure he broke the writer's strike.
Did he?
If I'm not mistaken,
Ah.
but that's the thing. It wouldn't have affected any of his films before this.
Mm.
They weren't acknowledging before that either. This really bothers me that this
Hmm.
didn't get nominated. If you couldn't tell,
Yeah.
but that's that's my piece. That's the last big thing, and it is a big thing.
It is very
But
big.
it's a big thing for me.
You can say we had no other choice than talk about this.
That movie is so great because all of them had so many choices.
That's the ultimate
That's
message of the movie, isn't it?
exactly.
I'm like, oh, I love the like just to kind of wrap it up. The way I read the movie, it's obviously like rich versus poor, and like like how like about the means about being replaced by an AI. But it's also like, he's looking a bit more critical and saying, well, but that, you still have a choice. Like, even looking down to a personal level, like each one of us
Yes.
personally, and the company also has a choice. So it's always, there's, every single time that, somebody says it, there's no other choice. There's a bunch of other choices. You just don't want to do them. And I think that's the ultimate, like, this is the new, like, a slightly different twist on, like, eat the rich than like something like Parasite was. So it's even different enough from Parasite for me at least to be like, hey, this deserves to be there and not maybe win the best picture, even though I would be fucking hyped. Like, but
That would be really cool,
yeah,
but
it
it
would
didn't even
be.
get nominated.
But at least give him a nomination, and the fact this filmmaker who understands the craft of cinema still doesn't have single nomination for screenwriting, producing, directing, movie. No, pick your choice. He doesn't have it. He
Nothing.
doesn't. And
Nothing.
fucking insane. So, is there any overall on Oscars? Is there anything else you want to add, Shane?
Overall happy.
Mhm.
Like there it makes me sad the ones that got left out. But overall, I just wish that it was Sinner's year.
I
Um
too. I don't
it's
think that's gonna
it's
happen.
no, it's gonna be the one battle after another. I'm gonna be sitting there just like I love everything everywhere all at once,
Hmm.
but I love Banshees of Inisherin,
Oh,
which got nothing because it
yep.
came out in the worst possible year. I feel like that's gonna Banshees and Sinners are gonna wind up being in a similar situation where they come up short on so many things because there was just
Mm,
that one other movie.
yep.
This is a '07. There's two films here that are like they're the two, except there's a couple others like Hamnet and Marty Supreme that are
Yeah.
pretty up there
Sneaking
too.
potentially. Like, yeah.
Yeah. But
Hmm.
like Sinners is gonna get done dirty at the Oscars and it's gonna make me sad. But at least it got all these nominations and acknowledged, and that's more than all those people that were calling it a bust and a bomb after one weekend. In
Yeah.
all of the tabloids in March when this movie came out.
Yes.
You were all wrong and you all suck.
Yes.
So there you go.
I will say pretty much the same thing. I'm hoping like I think it's not a secret both you and I have Sinners as the number one movie of last year. So I think we both will be rooting for Sinners quite heavily. I'm hoping for if I okay, let's end it like this. If you were to make prediction out of the 16 nominations, the record 16, how many do you think I'm not even asking specific categories. I'm not gonna put you on a spot. But how many actual Oscars do you predict Sinners will take it home? Because I think
Unfortunately, two.
really, holy shit. You think that bad?
Well, because original song,
Yeah. Hmm.
which could lose to K-pop Demon Hunters, which
See, that wasn't even a category I was thinking of. I was like, probably not.
score,
Score?
it's definitely going to win for score.
Yeah,
I think
yes.
Ludwig Göransson is like
Yes.
definitely going to get it.
Hmm.
Outside of those, I don't know. I don't
I
know.
hope. Okay, here's my hope. I would say, because if you look at these heavily nominated movies, besides Titanic, that won like 11 out of 14, they all end up 5, 6. So I'm hoping 5 or 6, like score. I would, on a spot, I would say maybe production design. I would say maybe costumes. I know, look. Like I know, because Shane is shaking his head.
I Besides the music ones, I don't think it's going to win any technicals.
I,
There's too many other
mm,
specifics
mm.
that will get technical awards over it.
I wouldn't be surprised about the best casting because it's a brand new category. We haven't even touched on that, by the way. Best
Wait,
casting, but
outside of the Secret Agent, which I was shocked
mhm,
that got nominated, the rest of them feels like it's just best ensemble, which a lot of the
yeah.
best picture nominees are ensembles. It's still going to lose to one battle after another, unfortunately, which makes me sad. I would love for Sinners to win that because I think it would deserve it more.
So okay, so your official prediction is 2.
Yes,
Okay, you know what? I'll go. I'll play it high, and I'll probably be wrong, and you'll probably be right. But I'll say 5, 6, and I hope I'm wrong, and it'll be more.
I would love for it to like substance like if which I will be doing with I have to reach out to Heath to see if he still wants to do it for my YouTube channel. I always do what I would pick out of the nominees
Hmm.
video. This would break the record
Yeah,
if I had my way. I have to really
think
count
about
them
it.
up,
Yeah,
but I think Sinners like I would give it to Michael B. Jordan. I would give it to Ryan Coogler. I would
same,
give it Best Picture.
same.
I would Oh, Wunmi Mosaku is
Yes.
incredible. Like I I have to really think about some of the supporting categories because the supporting categories are like murderers row
Hmm.
of like nominations. But like best actor, I give it to Michael B. Jordan because not only did he give one great performance, he gave two great
Yeah,
performances.
he invited
So
Michael
like
A. Jordan too. Like, not
yeah,
only we get we have his
yeah.
long lost twin.
We got Michael A and B Jordan.
Yes, yes.
Um Ryan Coogler, like there's so many of them that I would love to give to Sinners. I'll have to actually crunch the numbers.
Hmm.
I don't think we'll see if like I would actually have it breaking the record
Hmm.
because that 11 is
It is.
tough to break. And I wouldn't be surprised if one battle after another gets close
Hmm.
because I think that's going to clean sweep a lot of stuff
We'll see.
at this Oscars.
We will
And
see.
it has 13 nominations. So like
That's on
I don't
nothing.
know if I don't know if it'll get Return of the King, Titanic, and Ben Hur
Hmm.
level.
Hmm.
It'll get close though.
Yep,
It'll
yep,
be interesting.
yep. Any other thoughts about Oscars?
Nope, but I'm going to be talking about two of those movies shortly.
Nice. Ooh. Hint, hint. Okay, so let's get into our big topic.
Also, the Titanic. Um,
Yes. Let's get into our big topic for today, which is
yep.
we each will list top 10 favorite movies of all time for us specifically, and then give you a few random ones that didn't, necessarily are on, like 11 to 15 or whatever, but maybe you might be surprised to know, hey, I also love this movie and I would, and it's probably in my top like 50 or whatever. So, Shane, why don't you kick it off? And what is your number 10 movie for you?
My number 10 is Unforgiven from
Nice.
Clint Eastwood. You will see very quickly that I love Westerns. And there's a few more traditional and neo and weird westerns on this list. But this film is the greatest revisionist western around.
Hmm.
This film, for bet of actually kind of killed the genre at the beginning of the 90s. Because, like, to be frank, the Western genre was already on the decline at this point. But this is such a fascinating deconstruction of the myth of
Hmm.
the Old West. And that's why this film is leaps and bounds. Like, this is S tier Western because of the themes and ideas that it brings to the table. This is one of Clint Eastwood's greatest performances. And honestly, I would could have like this was the Malcolm X year and Scent of a Woman. Hoo-ha. Um, so like we know who won Best Actor, which was Al Pacino, but like Clint Eastwood's performance is so great because there's a subtlety, there's a humanity, there is a vulnerability, and then at the end of the movie, he turns it on, and you see a ruthless monster that
Hmm.
comes out of who William Money actually is. The supporting cast is incredible. I love Morgan Freeman, Gene Hackman, who did win Best Supporting Actor for this film, and even like Richard Harris
Hmm.
as English Bob, the Duck of Death. The screenplay is great, and this movie is gorgeous looking. The score is subtle but so poignant and effective, and this is shot so well and intense. And when William Money rides again at the end of this film is one of my favorite scenes in movies. It
Hmm.
is so incredible. And I appreciate that it deconstructs the myth of what the West was actually like. Guns sucked
Oh
back
yeah.
then and misfired all the time. And people didn't like fan weapons and like killed 20 people. If you
Hmm.
tried to fan your weapon, you probably broke it. Like that's what I appreciated about this film. And yes, it probably did kill westerns. We get seldomly get westerns consistently anymore, but like, damn, this was a great kind of ride off into the sunset for traditional westerns for Clint Eastwood.
Hmm. So Unforgiven is a movie I really like, but I've only seen once, so and it's been a while, so I really need to remind myself. But you really want me to
Yeah.
making me
And watch
rewatch
this
it.
a lot.
Like, yeah, I chose, but I love the passion.
Well,
So,
Jess is a huge Western fan too, so and
oh,
Unforgiven's one of her favorite films too, so we do love some Westerns together.
match made in heaven. But yeah, so as I alluded to this, so I struggled with this because this could
Yep.
be one out of 30, 40 movies easily. But eventually I settled on my number 10 would be, for now, Interstellar. So I need to have one Nolan movie because obviously I'm a Nolan bro. So that's the one thing. But all jokes aside, it's one of the fastest, almost 3 hour movies I've ever seen. Like it's the first time I watched it in a cinema, obviously in a cinema, the planet where the time flies by much quicker, and they stumble upon that ship, and then they realize that's not a rock, that's a wave, and then the fucking score swells up, and you see just how massive it is, and it's coming right on, after them. I got chills. I was like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, like I was like, really, this is how they resolve it? This is like the power of love? Okay, cool. But I still love the movie, but I was like, okay, that's weird. And then on a rewatch, I'm like, this is all beautifully set up where it actually works. And I've rewatched that movie a couple of times now. The work that Christopher Nolan does, the setup, it definitely pays over. Like like in a lesser movie, it would bother me much less. Well, sorry, much more. Oh, power of love. If it saved them all, and that's how they can communicate because love. And I'm like, in any lesser movie, that'd be like the Martha moment from Batman v Superman. Like, why did you say her name? But in a Nolan movie, and the way how it sets up and how it pays off, how you see the relationship, and it's not love. It's a father-daughter love. It's not just,
Yes.
hey, I'm pining for my wife, I'm sad. The moment when he's driving off for the mission and we hear the countdown and he checks that fucking, underneath that like blanket or whatever it is, because that's where Murph usually hides. Just on an offshoot, she's there. It's like, oh my fucking god. And I know it's been memed to death, but the scene of Matthew McConaughey crying as he's catching up with the life of his children.
You just see Jessica Chastain's face there because she's a freaking adult now, and you're just
Yep.
like,
But even the kid, like a story from his son, like oh, we have a kid. That's your grandson, and then like he just sits there like on all, on darkness, like, so we buried him in a grave, I'm like, holy fuck, like that movie just,
Justice for Tom?
yeah,
Because like
he
this
was
man has
left
another
out.
child.
What are you talking
And
about?
just
It's
screaming
Murph.
for Murph the whole
It's
time.
only Murph.
It's only Murph. This is my number 12. This is
Nice.
my favorite Nolan film, Interstellar. I love organs so much,
Okay,
and the score for this movie goes hard.
it
Oh
does.
my God. He Hans Zimmer so hard in
I
this
love that
movie.
joke. I love that joke. Like I understand it. Like I love the music, but I kind of love that joke. Honest trailers made. It's like, and then you hear the epic organs, and they swell up. Like, wait, I cannot hear my epic voice through these organs. Wait, turn it down, turn it down. And like, I kind of get it because
That's okay.
sometimes
I don't want to hear their voice. I'd rather hear the organs.
same. But no, like so Interstellar, yeah, that would be my number 10. Also probably my number like a favorite Nolan movie. It was like a 4 or 5 way tie between this, The Prestige, Dark Knight, um Oppenheimer, like take a pick, really, Nolan movie. Like it was Inception. It was genuinely like five-sided coin toss
Yeah.
between those movies. But no, like
All the
ultimately
pirates pointing their
yes.
guns at each other. Meme.
Interstellar won it for me. And I wonder, by the way, I don't think we will have any overlap, but we will see. Like, what
It'd
is your...
be interesting if we did. I don't think we're going
Me
to.
neither. But what is your
Um,
number 9?
the Prestige. The Prestige was my favorite Nolan until I sat in that theater in 2014 and watched
Yeah,
Interstellar. But it's like, oh my God.
Prestige is good.
My number 9 is the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Nice.
And this is I love Wes Anderson. He's one of my favorite filmmakers. I'm looking at 3 Wes Anderson posters that I have in my office. Um, none of which are the Grand Budapest Hotel, but I would love a poster in those styles though. But this film does everything. It has romance, it has horror thriller. That museum sequence is terrifying.
Hmm.
This has such a wonderful caper kind of feel, and this movie will make me emotional no matter what.
Hmm.
And so much of it has to do with the warmth and texture of F. Murray Abraham's performance as Mr. Mustafa. And we were happy here once, at
Hmm.
least for a little while.
Hmm.
Gets me every time. And there is so much emotion here. Ray Fiennes gives one of the best comedic performances, I would say, like, period.
Hmm.
Like he should have been nominated for best actor for this, and the fact that he wasn't is a travesty. This film swept like 6 technical awards, which was fantastic because the production design, the costuming, the music from Alexandre Desplat is amazing. I can listen to this score over and over and over again. I love the mystery of it all and just anything that Ray finds. What Gustav H says in this movie, and whatever they put on you, I want some. And the whole Adrian Brody is such a prick in this movie, and he's so good at it. And maybe drawing on real life a little bit because I have a sinking feeling he's kind of an asshole
He
a little
is.
bit. Um,
Allegedly.
the whole ensemble is
Hmm.
fantastic, and I love Sarah Sharonan. And how the hell is this movie a framed narrative within a framed narrative within a framed narrative within a framed narrative? Was
Narrativeception.
that necessarily? Was that necessary? No. Was it charming as hell? Yes.
Hmm.
And it's even like Jude. I could listen to Jude Law and F. Murray Abraham go
Hmm.
back and forth together, telling swapping stories for hours. They were that charming. This
Hmm.
movie is charming as hell. I think this is like distilled down the perfection of what Wes Anderson can be as a filmmaker. And I appreciate what he's been doing since, which are much bolder and more idiosyncratic. But like, I think this is like the perfect balance of his sensibilities and like commercial appeal.
Hmm.
And it's just a wonderful ride.
No, like signed, sealed, delivered, everything you just said. Like, if I were to think about it for a moment, the Grand Budapest Hotel probably is my favorite of Wes Anderson's too, but I haven't actually rewatched many of his movies, if any. So it's definitely due for a rewatch, but I remember absolutely loving it. And as you mentioned, 6 Oscars. This was his most awarded or decorated movie. Like I
Yeah,
think even to this day, still is.
yeah,
So
by far.
yeah, yeah. But no, that's a great choice. That's a great choice. My number nine. So this was a toss-up between this one and the third one of this franchise, which
Mm,
now is known as Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. But back then, it was just
just
Raiders of the Lost
Raiders.
Ark.
Yeah,
I actually grew up watching this movie. Maybe at times it was a bit too scary for me, sure, but just the sense of adventure, the clear one adventure that's not trying to do anything but that, not trying to set up a universe, not trying to give us 10,000 random characters on a side. No, it's just a good old fashioned fun, being like basically kind of like not parodying, but also paying homage to those like adventure movies from like 40s and 50s. And obviously
yeah,
Spielberg grew up not only watching those movies, but reading like these kind of like almost comic books and
yeah.
adventurous stuff. I think this is still the bar that now any adventure movie gets compared to, and that's why there are not many being made because nobody wants to be compared to the Raiders of the Lost Ark because, and yeah, it was a toss up between this and obviously the third
Last
one.
Crusade.
Yes, because Sean Connery of it all. But like ultimately, I think just the boulder scene at the beginning, the Marion set up and like establish in Marion and like who Indy is as a person and the fact that in the age of he was John McClane before John McClane, like in the age
He
of
was the
80s.
vulnerable,
Yes,
very human action hero.
in the age of like 1980s where we have likes
Because
of
Arnold.
Sylvester Stallone, Arnold
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger, like even Vin Diesel towards the not Vin. What am I talking about? Jean-Claude Van Damme. Why did I call him Vin Diesel? What the fuck is wrong with me? Like
JCVD.
yes, like muscles on top of muscles, being
Muscles.
you know these almost unbeatable machines. And then there's Harrison Ford, this silly dude with a fedora, that and with a whip that just fucks up more often than not. Like his plans not necessarily work out all the time, but he's good at improvising, and that's the beauty. And like this
He's
charisma.
smart
He's smart. He's good on
and
his feet.
resourceful.
He's good on his feet, resourceful, and the charisma young Harrison Ford had. Like you want to follow that man to any adventure, like whether it's taking on Nazis or taking on Nazis, like any kind of adventure. Like look,
Or the communists
yes. So
and aliens.
Alien, but thankfully they didn't make a fifth one. That's good. It's like even the fourth one was kind of meh. Like can you imagine if
I
somebody
still
tried
like the
to.
fifth one more than the fourth one, but
I
um,
think my probably hot take. I think the time will be much kinder to the fourth one than it is to the fifth one. I think if people 20 years
I
from
think the
now,
Spielberg of it
exactly that
is
was my
gonna
point.
is gonna
Yes,
grow on people. I'm a
yes,
huge fan of James Mangold, and I think James Mangold was the smart choice. It was either him or J.J. Abrams. Like nobody else was gonna be.
yeah,
J.J. Abrams is like carbon copies Spielberg,
pretty much.
and then James Mangold, I think, understands that old school type of filmmaking,
Hmm.
but there was something missing
I feel like there was,
from
what it was missing. I can speak for my experience. It was the
Steven
James
Spielberg.
Mangold of it all because I feel like he was so. It was almost such a safe choice. He was almost trying to emulate Spielberg, and he because I also like James Mangold. Like I'm a sucker for Night and Day, the Tom Cruise Cameron Diaz movie. Fuck yeah, I am the one of the 5 people who loves this movie. So I love James Mangold even when he's not 100%, like he's got some misses, but I still like those misses. And this movie, like the not the one I'm talking about, but the latest one, that was that. Like I was like, this is just trying to play all the hits, but without being Spielberg, and it all because of that it felt fake. All the when then that classic music came up. I'm like, this feels like a very well-made fan movie with the best of intentions, but it still felt like a
Like
fan movie.
$300 million of
Yes,
bloated budget.
and
Um,
and I say that as somebody who was actually kind of hyped for that movie and happy with the James Mangold choice of all before I seen the movie, and afterwards I'm like, yeah.
what I'll say is Raiders is a perfect film.
Yes.
Like it is perfectly executed exactly what it is going for.
Mm-hmm.
It is a pure distillation of those serials, those adventure
Mm-hmm.
stories from
Mm-hmm.
early cinema, and very few filmmakers could channel that. And outside of The Mummy and the first few Pirates of the Caribbean films, I don't think we've really
Yeah,
gotten that.
correct.
And it's a shame because I feel like comic book movies have kind of like
Overtook that.
taken
Yeah,
that, but Last Crusade is like my in my top 40. And I
fair.
think the thing that puts it above is that father-son dynamic
Yeah,
is that good.
yeah. No, again, like
Junior.
I don't have any strong feelings about which one is your
Yeah.
number one because they are both so fucking like genuinely, it's a flip of a coin for me. But I think
Last
Raiders is
Crusade's my number one Spielberg,
ooh,
which is a wild choice.
that is a
Um,
wild.
but like
I get it though,
I
but
love it.
I get it. Like to be fair, it
I
is
love it.
wild, but I get it. So what is your number eight?
My number eight, we're going back to westerns, except this is a spaghetti western,
I'm
and
surprised.
is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Yes.
Which I don't think this film gets enough credit for the depth that it has in terms of the undercurrent of the Civil War, American Civil War that it's going through. And also, there's some really good character work, especially with Tuco and his brother.
Hmm.
That brought a lot of emotional elements to it. But then on top of that,
Hmm.
like, iconic is iconic in terms of Westerns. Ennio Morricone's score
Oh.
for like all of these Sergio Leone films. Like there's a real good argument that Once Upon a Time in the West is his best, and that's really been creeping up my favorites list too. But
Hmm.
like this film, my favorite scene in the history of cinema is this standoff
Yeah.
in the cemetery
Yes.
because this is like if you want to see what pure cinema is, this is it. Editing, cinematography, music, acting, all of it. The tension, Il Triello, that piece of music, how it quickly cuts between eyes, hand on gun, all of these different things, shifting eyes. You have like Eli Wallach's paranoid eyes,
Yeah.
Lee Van Cleef slowly becoming more scared eyes, and then Squint Eastwood steely just staring him down. And like this is the purest form of that like badass Clint Eastwood type
Hmm.
character is
Hmm.
Blondie, the man with no name. That the last three scenes of like the ecstasy of gold, the showdown, and just the end of this film, impeccable. The character work, all three of these performances are great. Lee Van Cleef's such a bastard in this.
Hmm.
So's Blondie, to be perfectly honest. Clint Eastwood's character is good is a
Yes.
stretch. Um, but like the best part of this movie is Tuco. Eli Wallach kills this Jewish man as a Mexican. It's only,
As it was meant to be, Shane. As it was meant to be.
well, the funniest thing is when I see Spaniards and Italians playing Irishmen in
Hmm.
these spaghetti westerns, it's hilarious. Like, to be fair, it was wild back in the 60s making
It
movies.
was.
But no, Sergio Leone only made like six films,
Hmm.
and this is peak spaghetti western, and I love spaghetti westerns, kind of taking the western genre and really shaking it up in that way. And this is as epic as you're gonna get. This and Once Upon a Time in the West. So yeah,
I was gonna. That was the only thing I was gonna add. For me, yet again, it's a flip coin between this and the Once Upon a Time in the West. I could make the same arguments what you made for that movie, and
same
yeah,
director.
I wouldn't bet
Just
Sergio Leone is one of my favorites. Like, and it's such a shame he did not direct more. And that,
Hollywood killed his passion, and then
yes,
he also died pretty early because
yeah.
overweight Italian man.
But no, look, everything you just said. Like, it's one of my favorites too. Like, again, like talk about a movie that could easily crack my top 10. Especially if I were to rewatch it, like, if I rewatched it anytime recent, like it probably would because I love that movie. I love Once Upon a Time in the West. I love Ennio Morricone. I love everything about that movie. Like they don't get as much better than those two spaghetti westerns. Really don't.
Yep,
Yeah.
for sure.
So my number eight is I don't know if you can handle it because it's a few good men. You cannot handle the truth.
You
And
can't handle the truth.
yes, Jack Nicholson, tell me. And You know, the movie is good when you watch it when you were like, when I was about 13, 14. You're not exactly sure why Jack Nicholson, admitted everything at the last scene of the movie, but you're still fucking pumped that he did.
Arrogance.
Yes, that my mom, after that, explained to my 14-year-old ass. Like,
Hubris.
and yes, this is to this day, I think, the best courtroom drama. This is a young Tom Cruise at like, where he still has charismas full buckets full of charisma like he can give out to other people without having the Scientology yet tainting that. Like you know, we were not as worried, but we don't talk about it.
He
You
didn't jump
have
on a couch yet.
no, not yet. We have young Demi Moore. That's I think she's always been overlooked in this movie, but she needs to go toe to toe with him, with Nicholson, with Kevin Bacon, and she does brilliantly. Kevin
Kevin
Bacon is
Bacon's great.
yeah, he's like this such a like smarmy bit of an asshole, but like he plays it so well. You
He plays
kind of
that really well.
yes, you kind
Like,
of like him every time you see him on the screen. You kind of and then of course Jack motherfucking Nicholson.
yeah.
You need him on that wall, son. Okay? Like, apparently they did 5 takes of his speech, for the camera coverage and all. And based on all the accounts I've read, he did not tone it down once. Even when the camera was not on Jack Nicholson as he was giving his speech, he did not tone it down once. And look, Jack Nicholson also a bit problematic at his time, with fighty and all that. Sure, but he's one of the best actors we've ever had, and this movie showcases that. And yeah, and unfortunately now we need to also mention good late Rob Reiner movie because fuck me, that was unexpected. What happened to him, and it's a shame. And yeah, that came out of
I
nowhere.
think time will solidify that Rob Reiner was actually one of the great filmmakers and storytellers.
Hmm.
Because he's not flashy
No, yeah,
as a filmmaker, but like Spinal Tap to the American President with only like one or two little things in there, like that
yes,
peak is as peak as you can get for a
yeah,
filmmaker. And this
100%.
was at the tail end of that peak, and
Yeah.
this is still peak. And also you got the Sorkin of it all.
There is also, yeah, the dialogue is as sharp without being kind of up its own ass, where, like, I know some later Sorkin movies have that kind of problem where you can tell this is a Sorkin movie.
Because he didn't direct this too. Oh,
Yes.
there was nobody to like distill it.
Yeah, rein it in. Yeah.
Yeah, because like the dialogue is so great, the pitter patter of it
Hmm.
all,
Hmm.
and then Rob Reiner just really understood how to tell a story. And even like you have Kiefer Sutherland, Kevin Pollak, J.T. Walsh, Christopher Guest, like so many great actors that
Yes.
fill in this cast. But no, like that, like Jack Nicholson's not in this often, but like there's power in what
That's
he brings to it. And
that's
it's
why he
not
was
an over the
nominated.
top performance either.
No, no. But
It
he
just he
still had
does
the
get
nomination for
angry.
that. Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
Like he's not hamming it up. He's an intense presence in this. And there is that hubris that gives him this like quiet confidence that he's like untouchable. And yet this is that transitional period where Tom Cruise was really shifting into like a big Hollywood leading
yeah,
man.
yes. And this
And
is like with Jack Nicholson, this is the ultimate example of it. It's not about the screen time. It's about like how much impact he can have on a movie because he is, his Jessup, Colonel Jessup. He's
yeah,
this ever since you meet him, he is this overarching like almost cloud above this entire movie.
yeah.
So as you pointed out correctly, he's not in a movie much, but you fucking remember him.
It's like because you need him in that picture.
Yes, you need him there. Yes.
You want him in that picture. You need him in that picture.
And we both do. We both do.
Yes.
What is your number seven, Shane?
You're gonna sense a pattern here. Well, at least this is a neo-western, so this isn't like um and this is from my favorite filmmakers, which there will be one other one from them. It's the Coen brothers, and this is No Country for Old Men.
Of course.
This movie is pure cinematic expression.
Absolute
There's
cinema.
barely any score
Hmm.
in this movie, which is crazy because Carter Burwell did make score. It's
Hmm.
mostly in the credits, and Carter Burwell is such a big piece to Coen Brothers films, The fact that this is so scoreless and you hear so much in the silence of this Texas setting, and this really sets the tone. The opening narration is ripped right out of Cormac McCarthy's book because
Hmm.
each chapter started with Sheriff Tom Bell telling a little story, and Tommy Lee Jones's voice is so perfect. He got voted for best. He got nominated for best actor for the in the Valley of Elah this same year.
Hmm.
He deserved it for this too, because him as Sheriff Tom Bell is such a fascinating character. He's so funny. He but also like there's a vulnerability there because he's an aging man out of his depth who no longer understands the world around him.
Hmm.
And this is 1980. That
Hmm.
this is when this is set. This is a post-Vietnam story. I don't think Josh Brolin gets enough credit for it's not a flashy performance from Josh Brolin. It's very intense and very physical. And then, of course, Javier Bardem is
Call it.
it's like don't put that in your pocket. Um, the hair, my
Hmm.
God, the
Hmm.
hair. But him as Anton Chigurh is terrifying. The supporting cast: Woody Harrelson, Stephen Root, Kelly MacDonald, Beth Grant, and all of the perfect minor characters. The guy who runs the whole coin flip is like, it's like, when do you close? Around now. As he's like looking up and just everything. And Roger Deakins' cinematography is impeccable in this. The
Hmm.
visual storytelling, there's so many little moments where even where they cut away from Sugar and Kelly MacDonald and they show him leaving the house checking his boots. That's all you need to know.
Hmm.
You know what happened.
Hmm.
And like all those little details, this film and instantly was a masterpiece. And the fact that this and There Will Be Blood, which is also one of my very close honorable mentions, both came out in the same year as Wild, both shot in Texas and affected each other's filming,
Yep.
which is wild. But this film is thrilling. It subverts so many expectations. And I remember watching this for the first time in college and just being dumbfounded by how they ended this movie.
Hmm.
But this is so amazing. Those last couple of scenes and just the philosophical expression that the Cohen's channel from Cormac McCarthy's very nihilistic
Hmm.
perspective on things is just so powerful. This is peak how you make a movie.
Yeah. So talk about a movie I need to respectfully rewatch because I've only watched it once when I was about like the same time that it came out, which would mean I would be 15,
This is
16.
2007.
Yes. So I was, yeah, 15, 16 around that time. So you can imagine I didn't really appreciate it that much. I thought it was
This is
fine.
no movie for
No,
teenagers.
no, definitely not. So if you were to go on my letterboxd, I still because I imported my rankings from IMDb, I still have it rated I think like 3 stars. So like it's definitely a bit too low. So I am in a desperate need for a rewatch. Might appear on base retrospective, maybe.
I wouldn't say no.
Mm. So like, but no, so I cannot really comment on much because I've only watched it once and I didn't appreciate it, but it's because I was a dumb teenager. So I need to I
Seriously, like
definitely
this is not the type of film that you can process
no
as a teenager,
no
unless I give you a lot of credit if you're a teenager and you could process what this movie's trying to get across.
no. So like definitely need to rewatch it. So that leads me to my number seven, if I'm not mistaken. And this is something we watched together. The Wages of Fear.
Ah,
Yes.
this
So
is Sorcerer, man.
I know. See, so I'm one of the few people who prefer The Wages of Fear. But I wouldn't blame anybody if they prefer Sorcerer because it's definitely I think
Sorcerer's flashier.
it's more like I think it's more audience friendly. I think it's more like it doesn't ask much of you in a way where like the first hour, for example, of The Wages of Fear, you can say, and I can hear many people say, well, nothing happens there. Like you can this could all be
Character
cut.
work.
That's the thing. So like the sorcerer like throws you in and like it defines the characters very quickly and it goes with it. So like it's more I think audience friendly in that way. Whereas the Wages of Fear relies on you, hey, we're in the 50s will make you understand why this town is so bad, why everybody would take on this job, what they will take on, which is transporting nitro through a jungle,
But jungle.
and any moment it can blow up. It's still to this day, it's still to this day one of the tensest movies I've ever seen. It's one of the most beautiful black and white, not even black and white. It's one of the most beautiful movies I've ever
Yeah.
seen. There are some shots that are absolutely stunning. And speaking of great editing, there is a scene with somebody rolling a cigarette. I will not say anything else. And what how it's that being used as show do not tell,
Mm.
it's masterclass of what happens right after. And that even minus the entire ending where you can interpret, like one or two few people might have won and reached the target, the final destination, but what was it worth? And have they gone through fucking hell? And are they now in
Yep.
literal hell? Because that
Went into literal hell.
it looks like they are in hell. And I'm like, this is such an impactful movie. I have it now in a 4K, so it's so
Nice.
beautiful. And there is going to be a movie I'm going to talk about soon. Having finally seen in the cinemas, I would love for this to get re-released in a 4K in the cinemas. I would be there, no matter what day it is. So that would be my number seven movie.
This was one of the films of the last few years that I watched and knew instantly that I watched a masterpiece.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is I do like this more than Sorcerer as well. I think
Nice.
there's there's bigger, flashier things to appreciate about Sorcerer
Yes.
and what William Friedkin did with it, but the character work in this, I cared so much
Yep.
for that.
Yep. Yep.
So this is a great film for sure.
Nice. So what is your number six?
So speaking of the Coen brothers, and now for
Ah.
something completely different. It's the Big Lebowski. I don't think I quote another movie more than I quote this movie. Um, this legitimately has my favorite supporting character in the history of film,
Mhm.
Walter Sobchak. I'm a big fan of John Goodman, and my God, his work as Walter, it's like, calmer than you are, dude. Walter, it's like calmer than you are. Um, it's like, am I wrong? It's like, no, Walter, you're not wrong. You're just an asshole.
Yep.
Because Je- uh, Jeff Bridges is perfect
Mhm.
as the dude. The dude abides. And this is an incredible homage to Raymond Chandler, the hard-boiled PI stories. And I finally watched the Long Goodbye
Mm.
with Elliot Gould from Robert Altman, which is a 70s California adaptation of Raymond Chandler film, a book that Big Lebowski is the long goodbye,
Yep.
except like a satirical take where, instead of a PI, you just have a bum who winds up bumbling into a situation. And this movie is endlessly quotable. It is absolutely hilarious. This has some of the best character work. Like, not talking about like depth of character, but like the literal characters in this movie are such interesting characters that you're just dumbfounded by how weird some of these characters are. And the cast is incredible. Steve Buscemi, Julianne Moore, John Turturro, the Jesus,
Yep.
um, is Peter Stormare, David Huddleston, aka the Big Lebowski. I've never been more sure of anything in my life, dude. This man walks. Was unhinged. Philip Seymour Hoffman, just the whole entire thing. I remember watching this for the first time in college and just being like, what was this?
Yep.
And then I kept thinking about it. And then I kept thinking about it. And every time I watch it, I love it even more. And also, one of my favorite scenes, this is growing trend here. One of my other favorite scenes ever is the gutter balls sequence.
Mm.
The song just dropped in to see what condition my condition when it was is in is a satirical send up of psychedelic rock by Kenny Rogers and the first edition, but it's such a killer song, and the whole bowling motif of this porno like fever dream that's going on. And also Hotel California by the Gypsy Kings is an absolute gem. The soundtrack to this movie I have on vinyl is
Nice.
so fantastic. And yes, I love Credence too. So this movie is just a hodgepodge of greatness, and I absolutely love it.
I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but I that's another Coen Brothers movie I need to rewatch because I liked it. I actually remember watching it once and I liked it. And I was like, oh yeah. But the more time as time goes by, the more and more people like yourself talks about it, how it's such a masterpiece, and I'm like, I really need to rewatch it because I didn't love
It's a
it.
weird movie. And like upon first watch, you're just like, what the shit was
It
this?
is. No, it
So I
definitely
get that.
was. It definitely,
It's definitely true.
but again, like I many times I'm wrong. So like I'm more than happy to rewatch it because it's been a hot minute. It's not been as long for as There Will Be Blood. Wait.
Mhm.
No, no
No
country
country.
for. I was like, see, now I did the thing. I
They
did
will forever be
yes,
entwined.
no country for old men. It hasn't been that long, but yeah, I definitely need to rewatch it.
If
But
we do No Country on the Wasteland retrospective, we're doing it with There Will Be Blood because I feel like there
ooh,
could be no other movie to pair that with. It's like
sensible.
siblings.
Yeah. So my number six, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken, it's this movie. I don't know if you've still seen Battle Royale.
I have not seen it yet.
Okay,
Still, might also be something that you pick for.
so this is one of the movies Quentin and I can agree on. You know, Quentin Tarantino, close friend of the show. You know, might have heard of it. I remember talk about movies, watching it for the first time, and like, what the fuck did I just watch? It's that kind of movie where like, oh, this is weird, this is quirky, this is bizarre. And then you thinking about it, and like I kept thinking about it and thinking about it. And then I learned there's a director's cut. I was like, okay, let me watch that. So I bought it on 4K, an beautiful Arrow edition, 4K, the
Not
director's cut.
surprised.
Yes.
By Arrow.
No, yeah. And I watched the director's cut twice now, I believe. Each time it just gets better and better because it's not just about, hey, these are teenagers killing killing themselves on an island, or their mates on an island, because basically the premise is kids, are
Hunger Games
abducted. Yes, kids,
before. Yeah.
kids are abducted to this island, and they are fighting to the death for 3 days. And they have these like collars, so they cannot stay put. Otherwise, it will eventually explode. All that good stuff, right? And then you see how they are forced to kill their friends, and they, are scheming, but they are afraid. But then there's this interesting theme about generational gap and how it's widening. It, there's a scene that I feel like it's paying homage to Eight and a Half. I want to say the end of Eight and a Half, which is very touching. And again, if you eventually will watch it, please watch the director's cut, because there is a character that
Appreciate
gets her backstory cut off, and it doesn't make any sense because she is very quick to kill people. And you're like, what's up with this girl? And then in a normal
drama.
version, yeah, in a normal version, there is no backstory for her. In a director's cut, there's a pretty dark backstory for her. And I'm like, how was this left on a fucking cutting room floor?
Because it was dark.
It was
Drama.
very dark, but it kind of explains why is she a bit fucked up. No, but this is genuinely like it's unnerving. It's great. It's one of a kind movie. It's weird to say I love because it is just teenagers killing each other, but it's just there's something about it, and I cannot wait for you to watch it and tell me how much you like it or not.
That's definitely one of the ones that I've been recommended so many times.
Mm,
It'll be very satisfying to finally like check that off my list. I don't handpick things off my watch list to
mhm,
watch. I just randomly select stuff, which is why, and like I've thought about maybe I should like if I'm just picking something for my own enjoyment, could just, hand pick it. But I have a system for everything. Um, so my number five is a cheat,
ooh,
and there'll be one other cheat later, but we'll get
okay.
to that. It's Shrek and Shrek 2. Because
Ah,
to be perfectly honest, like sometimes I just can't pick which one. Over the years, though, I think it's pretty much solidified Shrek 2
mhm,
because Shrek 2 literally does everything Shrek 1 does and then some.
yes,
So, Shrek 2. This is my favorite animated film of all time,
nice.
which would probably surprise people because there's so much Disney and Pixar and everything else up there to go through. But I don't think there's another film, the first and the second one, that has captured how to entertain both children and adults as equally as these movies.
Mhm,
Because watching Shrek, the first one, in theaters as a 10-year-old, loved every second of it. And it only gets better when you're an adult.
mhm.
It's like all the references and Shrek 2. How do you build off the first one? Well, it deals with actual real stuff that you deal in relationships, having to meet your in-laws and like those awkward moments and those expectations. I'm like, this movie's dealing with like real stuff, which is really impressive. And then you introduce one of the best supporting characters to be introduced in a sequel ever, which is Puss in Boots, played by Antonio Banderas.
Yes.
Puss and
And
Boots.
boots.
And oh my god, I love Antonio Banderas, and the fact that he was Zorro and they're just like, we're gonna turn him into a cat
Hmm.
was genius. And
Yes.
he's such a realistic cat. Little
Hmm.
cat face, the hairballs, the alien reference when he bursts through Shrek's shirt. Also, the pop culture references in this are amazing. I will argue one of the funniest sequences in the history of film is the Knights parody
Oh
of
yeah.
Cops.
Oh yeah.
The fact that they make a police brutality joke, a drug joke with catnip,
And Eddie
and then
Murphy narrating it, like, you know.
and when it starts with "We are chasing a white Bronco," and I'm like, they just made an OJ joke movie for kids. And then on top of it, the pepper grinder shakers for pepper spray.
Yes.
Lose it every time. The voice cast is incredible. The new characters too, like Jennifer Saunders.
Mm.
My God, this woman.
Hmm.
And her rendition of Holding Out for a Hero is a certified banger. And Mongo, the giant gingerbread man, is a genius climactic piece in this movie. Be good.
Yes.
Uh, Pop culture references, the Starbucks joke, all the like behind, like in the background,
Hmm.
pop culture references. This is incredible. I love this movie to pieces. Also, Rupert Everett as Prince Charming is just so douchey and perfect, and just the whole voice cast. And they got my love, Julie Andrews, to
Hmm.
be the queen of Far, Far Away, and John Cleese is fantastic too. And the fact that they got Eddie Murphy and Antonio Banderas to duet "Livin' La Vida Loca" by Ricky Martin at the end of this movie is so 2004. It's amazing. So yes, Shrek 2
Shrek
is
2.
perfection.
It is great. Speaking of like, you know, your favorite sequence being knights, mine would have to be the Jennifer Saunders holding out for a hero because I remember being like watching it for the first time on a like DVD and then rewinding that DVD just for that moment, just to watch that scene because the way it's
Over and
edited, the way
over and
it's yeah, it's just like, you know, it's that sequence alone is just so like pumps you up and you know, and it's and like we see Shrek battling everybody and their mom to get through Fiona and stop her from marrying, you know, Prince Charming. Chef's kiss. Now this movie is awesome.
so awesome. And that made a shit ton of money in
That's why we've
2004.
gotten so many sequels.
And then they killed it.
Yes.
I have never been more disappointed by a movie than Shrek the Third.
And which, like, in a vacuum,
It,
it's not bad, but it's not
it's
as
not terrible.
yeah, but it's not
It's
as
just
good.
so disappointing. It Andrew Adamson leaving
Hmm.
directing took
Hmm.
all the magic out of it. And also, I'd like to also acknowledge the amazing score for Shrek,
Yeah.
which is sounds like such a perfect fairy tale triumphant score too. But anyway,
Hmm.
I'm done. What is your number five?
No, it's awesome. I don't think my number five will surprise you because we've talked about this movie also, which is Moulin Rouge. This
Oh
that's
man.
perfect to me. Like talk about masterclass of editing, blending pop culture hits, you know, and making them like within like a certain time period, like 100 years before they happen. Asynchronic, I think. That's it's the word I'm looking for.
Synchronistic.
Performances. Yeah, thank you.
Yep. And beautiful jukebox musical.
Exactly, which it is, but it wears it on its sleeve. It doesn't want to be anything else because it's not focused on that part as much. It's focused on the ultimate love story between Nicole Kidman and Ewan McGregor. You can argue both at their peak of hotness because Jesus Christ, those are very, very good-looking
Those are
people.
two hot individuals.
Yes, especially at the like 2001 era. Like holy fuck, and
Yeah.
and for this movie to work, they both need to be 100% in it. They both need to be 100%, even in the silly moments. And the first half of this movie is very silly, but that's what makes it
Very
great because
playful.
yes, very playful, very silly. Not like, there is a moon that has a face and sings them, like serenades them during their big song and dance number.
Georges Millier.
Exactly. And it makes so much sense. And to me, this is the ultimate musical because I all will die on this hill. I love musicals. And I think many people don't. And the reason for that is put it someplace and do something with the music, not just, oh, we're gonna break in a song and dance for no reason. Utilize the screen, utilize every single detail, because if you make your movie a musical, that gives you a license to be playful, that gives you a license to do something a normal movie cannot do, because we cannot suspend our disbelief. And this movie understands that we've already suspended disbelief enough, because they sing Nirvana, they sing Queen, they have Roxanne, which is like, the original song I didn't know until after this movie, and I was like, well, this is kind of okay
I grew
music.
up listening to the Police, and when I hear the
And I unapologetically will say that's a much better
I know.
rendition. Like I grow to appreciate the original Police version, but that Argentinian about courtesan and a man who falls in love with her. That scene alone, by the way, talk about a masterclass of editing, of camera, of music, because
Scene
that
is
scene
great.
is
I
shot
will.
to hell, it's edited to
Yep.
hell, but you never are dizzy, or you might get, but you never are confused where we are. It handles like three different storylines and it handles them beautifully, and it's like 7 minutes long. Chef's Kiss. This has been always on like a top of my movies ever since I seen this movie, and I love it, love it, love it,
Baz Luhrmann never Baz Luhrmann so hard.
and I love him
Um,
for that. Yes,
yeah, and more respect and praise and acknowledgement needs to go to Richard Roxburgh because for a time
dude.
that man was such a great character actor in things, and him singing like a virgin in this is funniest things.
Yes.
And because he's one Moriarty in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and he's Dracula in Van Helsing.
Mm-hmm.
Like range. This man has range. This
Yes.
Australian man that obviously was in this because Baz Luhrmann is also Australian.
And Nicole
There's a
Kidman.
lot of Aussies in here.
Yes.
Yeah. And Jim Broadbent's so much fun in
Oh,
this too.
yes.
Um, you might feel like you're on absinthe during the first like sequence of this movie because that's the vibe I got.
Yes.
Uh, but like it's wild. This movie
Mm-hmm.
is wild. I'm glad I rewatched it
Mm-hmm.
because I the first time I watched it because I think it just was overwhelming to me, to be
It
perfectly
it
honest.
is.
And yes, if you ever watch a Baz Luhrmann movie, please be prepared. You're gonna get sensory overload because like he's gonna work them all
Mm-hmm. He sure
for
is.
sure. I can't wait for his new Elvis concert film that he has coming out next month.
Ooh,
So ready. So ready.
let's go.
Um, and now for something completely different. My number four is 11-time Academy Award winner Ben-Hur.
Very nice.
I am probably the only person under the age of 60 that has this movie in their top five. But this film, I grew up Roman Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm an Italian American from New Jersey. Of course I was gonna grow up Roman Catholic. Um, this was a staple of my household around Easter every year because this is subtitle The Tale of the Christ. Because this is a parallel story of a Jewish prince, Judah Ben-Hur, and Jesus. And this film is epic as epic can be.
Mm-hmm.
The score in this, I watched the intermission and the entree
Yeah.
into it because the music is that good. Charlton Heston is my favorite actor of all time. He had presence. He had power. And his performance as Judah Ben-Hur is so full of emotion and there's rage, there's honor, and it's a powerful performance.
Mm-hmm.
And he is supported so well. Stephen Boyd as Masala, his former friend turned antagonist, and the fact that they told Stephen Boyd that Judah and Masala were lovers when they were younger. So he was playing that angle
Ah.
throughout the whole film. You get that. And it's so funny because Charlton Heston didn't know that, but you still feel that chemistry because no way in hell they were going to tell Charlton Heston that. Um, and their conflict is so powerful. And then you have incredible supporting characters like Jack Hawkins as Quintus Arius is fantastic. Hugh Griffith, yet unfortunately in brown face as Sheik. Uh, it was 1959.
Hmm.
What can you say? Um, like he is so charismatic. The chariot race in this is one of the ultimate action sequences in the history of cinema, and it is thrilling. It is peak filmmaking. The naval battle that they have in this is incredible as well. And this film is how you make a faith-based film.
Hmm.
I'm agnostic
Hmm.
at best at this point, but I appreciate people having faith as long as that faith doesn't get in the way of other people, having a humane life,
Yes.
which apparently is a hard ask in 2026. But one of the biggest problems is how crappy so many faith-based films are today, where they don't care about making a film, they just
Hmm.
want to push a message. This
Hmm.
is how you make a film that literally has Jesus in it and about how revenge is not the way to live and faith in your fellow man is like this should be feeling preachy as hell, but it feels so organic and so
Hmm.
well done. William Wyler directed the hell out of this. This is an epic as epic can be, and I love this movie to pieces. I've watched this film so many times, and one of my favorite physical media pieces is I have a Ben-Hur box set DVD.
Nice.
I would like to upgrade it because God, I want to see this on 4K, but I love that
Hmm.
box so much, and I'm just like, I don't want to get rid of it.
You can always keep the box set and just put the 4K in it.
I will. I did get the Ten Commandments on 4K, but I still have my Ten Commandments special box set DVD
Hmm.
on display, like
Hmm.
over there. So that's probably where the Ben Hur will go.
Yeah. No, yeah, talk about a movie. Like I was prone to like almost hate because it's a long movie. I didn't even know it's a faith-based movie. Like, like as you said, Jesus is a character. And also I watched it quite young. It was like a 16. Like I was just the first year of high school. I remember that.
Like teenage time is the worst time to
Yes.
watch this for the first time because like either you have to get in young or wait until you're old.
Yes. And yet, but despite all this movie had against it, quote unquote, I loved it. I fucking adored it. Like I only watched that one time, so I need to rewatch it. But I even back then I was like, damn, talk about knowing you've seen a masterpiece. Like the chariot scene alone was worth the price of admission. The Jesus, like like I did, like again, I'm not agnostic. I'm an atheist. Uh, I didn't mind that Jesus was there. I was like, yeah, kind of tracks. Okay. Yeah, what are you saying? That kind of tracks. Cool. Like, I don't care. Like, okay. And just, yeah, that movie, like, I remember it left such an impact on me. E- Like, yeah, I need to rewatch it, but I remember absolutely loving it. And then this was one of the first ones where, like, okay, I need to watch more old movies, old Hollywood movies, because they can be awesome. So, yeah. So my number four would be The Shawshank Redemption, which it is a number one movie on IMDb for a reason. It's the
Yes.
ultimate, there is always hope, even in the darkest times movie. And talk about a movie I've only watched once, and left such an impression it still has not left my top five. Because I watched this when I was like 12. And even this 12-year-old dumbass, like, started to pay attention to this movie and felt feelings that he's never felt in his life during the credits. Because the ending is so, so beautiful and uplifting and powerful. I like it woke something within me, and I think this is one of the movies I credit to me becoming a cinephile. I think, this
Mm.
movie, had it not hit as much, I don't know if I would ever be as obsessive about watching so many movies. But I am, and I genuinely credit this movie as one of the reasons because this movie is a masterpiece. Morgan Freeman with his buttery voice and a great performance. Tim
I guess
Robbins,
because I'm Irish.
yeah, which, yeah, I was like, great. It's so. No, it's uplifting. It's like, it's this is the movie that's like, I wish would do better at the box office because it completely flopped. It would
Yes.
do better at the Oscars because it also received like 7 nominations and it scored 0 wins, I believe. And I think
It was a tough
retrospectively,
year.
it was, but retrospectively, don't tell me you take Forrest Gump over this.
This is a better movie than Forrest Gump. I still
Yes.
love Forrest Gump,
I
but
like
like
it. I like it too. Yes.
Forrest Gump is when you watch The Shawshank Redemption, you realize this is a special film.
Hmm.
And it everything going for it. It isn't even just like a crowd pleasing thing. This is shot by Roger Deakins. This movie
Hmm.
is gorgeous.
Yes.
Thomas Newman's score is gorgeous.
Yes.
It has a Stephen King sensibilities. There are three directors
Hmm.
that I feel like should adapt Stephen King.
Hmm.
One of them was Rob Reiner,
Yep.
Frank Darabont,
Hmm.
and Mike Flanagan.
Yeah.
I feel like
Agreed.
those three, and this was produced by Castle Rock too. So Rob Reiner was involved in this too.
Hmm.
So Frank Darabont directs the hell out of this. I've never been the biggest Tim Robbins fan, but like he just what he does with Andy Dufresne in this is fantastic. Morgan Freeman is obviously like
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman's the lead of this, to be
Yes.
frank.
Yeah.
No matter how they frame it, whatever. But like Morgan Freeman's incredible, but the supporting cast, Bob Newton as the warden, oh my god,
Hmm.
and Clancy Brown, um, as the captain, William Sadler, just everybody, and James Whitmore and the Brooks sequence in this is one of the most emotionally devastating things I've ever seen in a movie.
Brooks was here. I still remember that. I'm like, holy fuck. No. Yep.
This was my childhood best friend Ryan's favorite movie.
Hmm.
And it took me until college for him to finally get me to watch. And finally watched. I'm like, my God, I just watched something special
Yep.
for sure. Well, and now for something completely different, from crowd pleasing to weird as hell. My number three is 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Nice.
I am a humongous Kubrick fan, despite the fact that Kubrick was a piece of shit. But you know what? He was a mad genius filmmaker and
Hmm.
abused a lot of people.
Hmm.
But this film is the purest expression of hard science fiction. Obviously, you have on one side Star Wars, and on another side you have 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Which back then,
And,
Star Wars didn't exist.
well, I'm just saying in terms of
Yeah. Yeah.
science fiction,
No. Yeah.
because science fiction is such a huge spectrum of accessibility.
Yeah. Hmm.
And 2001: A Space Odyssey is definitely on the side that's not as accessible.
Not at all.
Um, this is one of the purest forms of filmmaking you're ever going to watch. The fact that they used all classical compositions was such an interesting idea. From like the Blue Danube, the waltz is just
Hmm.
gorgeous. Watching these ships dance through space. Thus spoke Zarathustra as the bum 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 bum
Yep.
bum bum bum, ba and just that popping in and out of this film, and then the eerie ants that go on that are so unnerving whenever the monolith shows up. This film is one of the most gorgeous looking movies ever made.
Hmm.
That shot, looking up at the monolith lining up with the sun,
Oh
is
yeah.
the background on my computer at work. It's just that incredible. I wish I could plaster that on my wall. The Dawn of Man is one of my favorite sequences in any film ever. Just the fact that this movie doesn't even have a human being in it or dialogue for like over a half hour into the movie is wild, but has some of the greatest editing ever put in a film. That bone to spaceship edit was genius. The early ape-like entity smashing that tapir skull and everything, and just HAL 9000 is one of the greatest antagonists in the history of film. And
Hmm.
my God, if I could go back to my rant about AI, HAL is terrifying. And this is why we should not rely on artificial intelligence.
No.
And Douglas Rain's voice, it's like, I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Hmm.
And one of the trippiest, most interesting, crazy things I've ever seen in a film is Beyond the Infinite. That final sequence in that wormhole and Dave Bowman turning into the Star Child is one of the most fascinating things you're ever going to see in a movie. this is not for everybody. And I know a lot of people think this is pretentious and weird, but like if you love film and love how abstract and expressive film can be, that's it.
Hmm.
There's so many themes and ideas throughout this film, and it is fascinating. And also the fact that they even made this in 1968 is insane that they made some of these things work. So
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
practical effects is incredible.
No, 100%. I talk about another I need to desperately rewatch, but I remember admiring the fuck out of it. I still don't understand what happened in the movie. Like I still like, okay,
I've
I've
read
read
all four books, so
see,
I think I have a little bit more context than most people.
I've actually read the book this is based on. I actually read the book and
Interesting.
I've read like a movie book, like a proper film analysis
Well,
because
actually, fun fact,
yeah.
they were written together.
Yes. Oh, yeah, yeah. So they were yes.
And they were both written by Arthur C. Clarke and Stanley Kubrick, but Kubrick doesn't get credit for the book,
Ah, okay.
which is
I didn't
interesting.
know didn't know that.
The book is Clark's vision,
Hmm.
and the film is Kubrick's vision, which is why Clark actually explains shit
Ah,
and
because no,
Kubrick doesn't.
I do remember liking the book, but it's been a minute. And like the movie again. I've actually read a proper movie book, quote unquote, like how to read movies. Because once upon a time, I wanted to be a film student, but then yeah, I've been told many a time, well, you will not make any living. You better do something proper. And I'm like, okay, IT it is. So that worked out.
Accounting.
Yeah.
I got my accounting degree,
Yep.
and
Yep.
I could do this now.
Yep. But no, I do need to rewatch it. But also, that lives on my shelf as a 4K because I know this is a stunning movie, so it definitely needs to be watched in,
Oh my God, my 4K steelbook that I have,
yeah.
my precious.
My
And
pleasure.
I also have a HAL 9000 ornament that somebody bought me that's over on my like little shelving unit that I have with a whole bunch of like memorabilia and pop vinyls and stuff.
I believe it. I believe it. So for now, for something totally different after this bona fide classic, cinephile classic, hard sci-fi, let's talk about Airplane. Because that is my number three movie of all time. Because yeah, it's a one of the greatest parodies, if not the greatest parody that's ever been made. Like it's a joke a minute, even if some of the jokes don't land, you don't worry. 30 seconds later, there's another joke coming your way. It's fun as fuck. It's so beautiful. Like it's so again, it's funny. There's nothing deep about this movie. Like I cannot sit here and pretend, oh, this talks
Oh,
about these
Luke,
themes. You know.
surely you can't be serious.
Yes, surely I am serious. And don't call me Shirley. But this to this day, this is the only movie when I watched it when I was also young. There's a theme throughout these movies. I was literally rolling on the floor laughing. Like literally, that's the only movie ever that made me like actually fall out of my chair laughing. And it was a scene where the woman passengers like freaking out, we're gonna die, we're gonna die, oh no, you need to calm yourself. And then you see like more and more people coming to her and like slapping her and like boxing. And then you see the queue of people lined up, and like there's a boxing glove, there's a crowbar, there's a gun. And you're like, what the actual fuck is happening? This is a mile a minute, like this is like laugh a minute, laugh every
You
30
need to
seconds.
watch this movie multiple times to even
Yes.
get all the jokes.
Yes, it's so again. Is it the deepest movie? Is it are there many as
That
Anaconda?
doesn't matter, Luke. It's
You know,
greatness.
as 2025 Anaconda would say, are there any themes in this movie? Not really. The theme is have a good time, and Abraham's Zaz duo is sorry trio beautiful. No, honestly, this movie
Zuckums
yeah,
Abram Zucker.
yes.
Oh my
Honestly, this
God.
is a yeah.
Luke, the first time I noticed the announcers on the intercom arguing about an abortion,
Yes.
I lost it.
Yes.
Like, what the shit? And like, cast Leslie Nielsen is a revelation.
Well, because of
Between
this movie,
this,
he had second
yes,
career.
because of this and the Naked Gun,
Yes.
like this man is so great. Robert Stack, when he's walking through the airport beating the shit out of everybody. Lloyd Bridge is like, this is the worst week to stop smoking. This is the worst week to stop sniffing glue.
Sniffing glue. Yep, yep, yep.
And
Johnny.
it's like
Johnny.
Robert Graves, like that whole like pedophile joke, like with a little boy. I'm like, what? I quote this a lot too. It's like, what's your vector, Victor? We have clearance, Clarence.
Yep.
Just oh my god, and the autopilot.
And he has a IMDb profile, by the way. Otto has an IMDb profile page, which I absolutely love.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, this is another one of my childhood friend Ryan's favorite movies, and he showed me this, and
He sounds like
I
a cool guy, I'll say.
it was funny because I just reconnected with him after 10 years.
Nice.
So it had been a while.
Mm.
Um, but no, like Airplane is one of the funniest movies ever made. It
Yes.
doesn't matter how dumb it is. Like comedies don't need to be smart.
Hmm.
If it makes you laugh, what
Yep.
else do you need?
And also, it cannot be too dumb because we got a lot of dumb parodies right after, and they do not work.
It's clever.
Yes.
The,
It's clever dumb.
some of the humor is dumb,
Yes.
but you have to be clever to make this movie work.
Yes.
So that's the difference.
Exactly. No, like that's yeah. It's always been like the top for me, like one of the tops. And I'm like, yes, I love the movie.
My number two
Tell me.
is the most recent film on this list, which is funny because it's 2015. Um, so
Mhm.
it's been 11 years. This is the last time that I actually changed my top 10
Nice.
because this space used to be held by the Road Warrior. And then Fury Road came out and made me realize that the Road Warrior was just warm up. And George Miller was just waiting for the right amount of money, aka
Mhm.
$150 million from Warner Brothers, which is still insane that they gave like a 70-year-old Australian man $150 million to get lost in an African desert for 7 months and make this movie.
Yep.
And that movie is Mad Max Fury Road. If you couldn't tell from all my branding, I love Mad Max because of the wasteland.
Hmm.
And this is the greatest action film of all time.
Mm.
Period. No notes. Return like done. This is one of the biggest travesties of Best Picture, and I hope Heath is listening because I know how much he loves Spotlight, but I am sorry. Fury Road should have won Best Picture. And sorry, Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu. George Miller should have won Best Director for this movie. This movie already won like 6 or 7 Oscars because it won like technical stuff. This movie is 2 hours of adrenaline and perpetual motion that
Hmm.
has one of the most economically crafted. I'm not going to say written because there was no screenplay. This was all
Hmm.
storyboarded economically conceived character work, thematic work, because this is not just what it looks like.
Hmm.
There, what this very plainly and clearly and visually, without beating you over the head, presents in terms of authoritarianism. In 2015, mind you, who somebody became president the year after this, who reminds me a lot of a Morton Joe.
I wonder who that is.
Morton Joe is an incredible antagonist because what he represents, his design. I have my pop vinyl of a Morton Joe over there. Hugh Keys Burns plays it perfectly, but Tom Hardy coming in and filling in Mel Gibson's role as Max Rockatansky. He barely says a thing in this
Hmm.
movie, but
Yep.
his physicality is everything. And Charlize Theron is incredible
Hmm.
as Imperator Furiosa. And this film, what it has to say about patriarchy and everything, like, is a little on the nose that the women, the tribe is the Volvolini. It's
Yep.
like, oh, I wonder why they're called that. But like this film, the character depth, every one of these characters has a whole entire backstory that we don't know, but it feels lived in.
Hmm.
This score from Tom Holkenborg, aka Junkie XL, is one of the coolest things ever created for a movie. And I don't know if it was a technicality or that the Academy just sucks. That this didn't even get nominated for best score is insane to me
That
because this
is.
is one of the most interesting and unique scores ever put to film. I'll listen to the track Brothers in Arms on repeat because it's one of the most epic things ever created.
Hmm.
This film, the cinematography, the editing, the costume design, the production design, the effects, practical and CGI, all of it, it is impeccable. And this is thrilling, and the thematic work is so dense. I reference this in work in terms of you have a choice. You can go out and try to scrape by and avoid confrontation, or
Mhm.
you could confront it headlong, overcome it, and thrive and find oasis. And it is a beautiful message that people, bury under. They just go back
Yep.
where they came from. It's just like this movie is perfection. This is peak action. And if you want to understand how to shoot action, watch this movie
Mhm.
because George Miller knows how to do it. That beautiful little old Australian man is a genius
Yeah.
and a doctor,
And a doctor,
like
yes.
like an actual doctor.
Actual doctor,
So
yeah. No, that movie is awesome. I don't know if I agree. Like, I will say the director, I would agree. Give it to George Miller. I still prefer probably Spotlight a bit more. Please don't hate me.
I will never hate you, Luke, but I
Oh,
strongly disagree.
I understand, but I understand. Like, no, but
We
like,
can have a whole entire conversation about how Spotlight is an uncomfortably underacted movie, and I don't
mm,
think hits the emotional depth that it does. But that's for another
I was
day.
gonna say that could be for another show. Okay. Challenge accepted. No, but no, like I cannot really. You sang this praises of this movie. I cannot do any better. And also, obviously, you love it much bit more. I really really love it, but I think you love it a bit more. So like I cannot do any better. So yeah,
Too
it's a
much?
great movie.
Maybe. No, never.
But for something again completely different than this, a movie I managed to catch in the cinemas last night, and it was beautiful, and it was everything I wanted to be and more. Mulholland Drive by David Lynch, by the one and only weirdo, what the fuck I just seen guy. He was, unfortunately, I need to say he was, because also we lost him last year. This movie, man, just it hits me on all the right places. It just does something for me, and I love it. The more time I watch it, the more I love it, and I'm at the point where I don't even need to understand what's happening, even though I think I choose to interpret it as this is about love story that was not meant to be. And we have dreams, we have nightmares, and we have reality. And David Lynch cuts between those, especially at the end. You need to be very focused because that ending is not linear. So that also throws another wrench on top of this dreamlike movie that feels very dreamlike, and you don't know what's real, what's not.
Hmm.
But the fact that Naomi Watts was not nominated for that year's Oscar is travesty. That's insane because this is the movie why we have Naomi Watts, why she keeps having career. And she will tell you herself, she was on her way out of Hollywood because she failed so many times as an up and coming actress. They often do until she had this movie. And yeah, there is a special place in for the score, for the cinematography, for Robert Foster for his like 2 minutes in this movie. It's beautiful, it's haunting, it's the Club Silencio is one of the best pieces of cinema I've ever seen, and that sequence alone always trips me up how beautiful and poignant it is. It's a masterpiece.
I've watched this now 3 times
Nice.
and am slowly starting to unpack this. That's the thing. David Lynch is an investment. Obviously, some of his films are much more accessible.
Yes.
Like some of them are specifically accessible. Like Blue Velvet's probably still my favorite,
Okay.
and that is infinitely more accessible than this. Which even just thinking about that sounds really weird if you've ever watched Blue Velvet.
Yeah.
But like that's David Lynch. Jess and I just finished Twin Peaks,
Nice.
and that here's the thing. My God, I cannot invest watching that 3, 4, 5 times to try
No.
to like really. I can do that with Mulholland Drive though, because it's 2 hours.
Mhm.
Um, this is such a haunting experience, and I don't know if David Lynch will ever be like my filmmaker
Mhm.
or will specifically hit my frequency of expression and understanding, but damn, I respect that man so much
Mhm.
for doing it, doing his thing. And no other filmmakers can do this the way
Many
that
have
he
tried.
does.
Many have tried to emulate that,
Too
but
many. have
Yes.
tried
Yes.
trying to be Lynchian,
Yes.
and it's just there's a few filmmakers out there that people just need to stop trying to be them.
Yeah.
Kubrick,
Tarantino.
Lynch, yeah, there's just too many very idiosyncratic filmmakers, and Lynch is like the most idiosyncratic. Like, what are you even doing?
Hmm.
Why even? But Mulholland Drive is such a fascinating experience, and Naomi Watts, I think, is one of the most underappreciated actors out there. Like,
Hmm.
even something like I think she's incredible at Birdman.
Yes.
Even just like and she's obviously not even like close to the biggest name in that movie and what most people talk about, but like this film is special. And David Lynch did get nominated for best director
That
for this,
was
didn't he?
that was the only Oscar
Only,
nomination
yeah,
for this movie. Not even a Best Picture, not even a lead and lady. Not
which
no,
is so weird
yes.
that like how many I would like to know actually how many movies have gotten just a director
I
nomination.
think he's only like second or third ever. I think it only happened two or three more times. That's about it. Like if I'm not mistaken, I read that like he is not alone. But like that just speaks to the quality because like last night in the cinema, I've noticed many scenes I never noticed before, and I like now starting to appreciate on a deeper level where I think this movie why it also works. It's like bridges a gap between old Hollywood and new Hollywood. Because like there's like a scene where David Lynch can make unzipping a woman's purse fascinating. And it's not a scene you would normally now see in a cinema, but you would see it in the 1940s and 1950s. So I think that's another reason, like I never appreciated until yesterday when I watched it on a beautiful 4K restoration, which David Lynch and the cameraman supervised when they were obviously still alive. Like just those tiny in between quote unquote scenes where he pays such attention to every single detail, where unzipping a purse is tense. It's like, oh, what's gonna be in that purse? Why do we have close up on that? Well, because this is how this works. This is how his mind worked, and this is why many people try to replicate it but never succeeded. Because there's you can be weird, you can be quirky. He doesn't have a patent for that. He has patent for actually living the life and understanding art on a much deeper level. And I that's what I appreciated about him and love about him.
Every single scene, every single moment in one of his films feels like a horror film. It's
Yes.
because you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Anything is
And
on the table. Yes.
we as audiences don't know how to understand that, so we have fear.
And that turns
And
into a
that's
proper horror movie. Like by the last 10 minutes, those are horror like, genuinely.
oh yeah, my favorite parts of Twin Peaks was when it went full blown. What the shit am I
Yep.
watching?
Yep.
It's like, oh my, this is what I came for.
Yep.
Man, David Lynch.
Yep.
Um, my number one is the biggest cheat that I have because to be frank, it's just Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Um, I know they release these as three different films, but like, come on. Generally, I say the Return of the King's my favorite because out of the three of them, it is. But
Hmm.
like,
Hmm.
I literally on my letterbox when I have my top 500, just the first three of them in a row. It's like it's there. This is the live action fantasy film.
Hmm.
Like this is the benchmark. I don't think anything is going to come close to like capturing fantasy in this way.
Hmm.
And I think Dune is getting close to capturing a science fiction feel
Hmm.
of that feeling. But like they had to come out with Game of Thrones, which was completely different because it was political, it was sexy, and all those kinds of things. Because you can't reach what Peter Jackson did. Because honestly, I don't think a studio will ever let somebody
Nope.
do something like this again. Just look at The Hobbit. Um, the level of practicality
Hmm.
that they leveraged for making these films, the miniatures, the forced perspective, the makeup, all of that stuff. And yes, there's CGI in it. And only like a couple of the things don't look great. Like Kate Blanchett's whole thing in Fellowship of the Ring looks a little weird. But like the ghosts, the CGI on that is
Hmm.
horrifying to begin with first. And the Ents and the Mumakil, the giant elephants, all of it, the Belrog, all of that stuff looks incredible. This never got any recognition. It got one Oscar nomination for acting, this whole
Hmm.
trilogy, for Ian McKellen as Gandalf the Grey. in Fellowship because this is the purest ensemble.
Hmm.
Like if they had a casting Oscar, this would the Return of the King would have won 12 Oscars.
Yeah.
Because like from top to bottom, this is an ensemble, and every actor does an amazing job in terms of what they're supposed to be doing. And Return of the King is the most epic up until I think technically Aquaman. It had the largest war
Oh
scene in
yeah.
the history of cinema.
Hmm. Hmm.
The battle scene at the end of Aquaman, where there's like all of those sea creatures and stuff like that, technically is bigger. But like, I don't think it's had the same kind of weight because of like when you looked out from Minas Tirith with Denethor and just saw the horde of orcs coming upon the city, you're just like, oh my god. And I get goosebumps. I'll just listen to Theoden and Aragorn give their battle speeches because my God, and Howard Shore's score, and I will say this plainly, is the most layered, complex, diverse, and greatest score ever created for a movie.
Hmm.
Because I'm pretty sure they came up with 16, 17 different themes for these movies, and they're all great.
Hmm.
This is what I love most about Lord of the Rings. It does everything. It does everything great. It has every type of genre thrown in there. It technically, I cannot believe Andrew Lesney didn't even get nominated for cinematography for Return of the King. Like the lighting of the beacon sequence should have won by itself.
Hmm.
But this, I can't be too greedy. This did win 11 Academy Awards. Um, so like everybody else outside of the acting categories that year were like, well, we're just here.
Yeah.
So these films I've seen, I I have a story about Fellowship, but I've seen all three of these in the theater. I watch these every year, at least once. And this is how you make a fantasy work. Because fantasy, live action fantasy is the hardest genre to make
Hmm.
because you have to make a whole entire audience believe a whole entire new world and Middle Earth was real because it was New Zealand
Yep. Yep.
and New Zealand is real.
Or is it?
We'll ask our fearless leader Mike Hilty, whose wife is from New Zealand, if New
That is
Zealand is
true. That is true. Now, I cannot add anything to it because, as you know, I think you do know,
yep.
I need to rewatch this because I was an angsty teenager who didn't like it at all. So, like, I rated them.
True,
Yeah, I
angsty
know. I know.
teenagers.
They are the
There's a lot
worst.
of angsty teenager stories you have for a lot
They
of my favorite movies.
they are the worst. They are like, and I was like, no, but I need to like this is one of my goals for this year is to finally rewatch the Lord of the Ring trilogy and to finally watch even for the first time the Hobbit trilogy. So because I haven't even seen those. Like I was already in living in Scotland and I remember when they were coming out in a cinema. So I had
They're
the opportunity.
all
But I know, like that's the other reason I was like, oh yeah, even the fans are telling me they're not that great. So I'm like, you know what? I can
they're
hold.
that meme. It's like, all right.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Yeah. No, but I do need to rewatch it and give it a proper shake and like and see where I'll fall. I don't know if I'm gonna totally love it, maybe not, but we'll see. Like I'll definitely give it a much more of a fair shake because I know I wasn't fair to this trilogy. So I need to. So I cannot really add anything to your love for these movies.
That's okay. I have 25 years of pent up
Yeah.
love for these
Yeah.
movies.
And
So
it shows, which is awesome. And for my number one, you know it quite well, I'm sure. It's
yep.
lost in translation. For I don't even understand myself why it hits me the way it hits me, but it just the ultimate, hey, this is how it feels to be sad movie. This is how it feels to be surrounded by thousands of people, yet to be all alone movie. And it's Sofia Coppola firing on all cylinders. It's Scarlett Johansson before she became sex bomb Scarlett Johansson. Like
You're
this,
like what, 19 or 20 in this?
I think she was like 16, 17, like even younger. Like she was quite young in this during this movie. Like she's now just turned 40, I believe. So she was quite young. Yes.
Which is
This
crazy.
yeah, it is. This is Bill's Murray's comeback because, before that he wasn't really doing much. So it seems like he was
He had
gonna
like
just
Rushmore
yeah,
and he had Wes Anderson.
yes. But even
That was it.
but it was before he became Wes Anderson. So like many movies, like I know they were not that beloved by at least where I grew up. And this movie just there is this sense of there's like bittersweet loneliness. It's bittersweet. Like it's basically like if you want to like bottle up melancholy, this would be the movie. And I don't understand why I gravitate towards this so much, but I do. Like this is a perfect movie for me. Like every single frame I would not touch, every single music choice I would not touch. The performance again, talk about ScarJo. Bill Murray got all the flowers, and I always felt ScarJo is underappreciated in this movie.
She's an
And
incredible actress,
she
and
is.
for like a long time, she
Mm.
has been,
Well, because
which is
after
why.
this movie, yeah, because after this movie, she became the she's one of the hottest women alive, which she is. So let's put
Correct.
her in all the sexy movies. Let's make sure like we display how hot she is. And I feel like that as any beautiful actress will tell you, that helps your career, but also hinders it a bit. So because people
Her
see
was a
you,
master stroke
yes,
to like be in a movie where you didn't even see her.
yep, yep, yep.
Genius.
No, but so like that is for but I'll say Mulholland Drive is knocking on the door. Be like if like that cinema experience last night, I was like, damn, this is getting closer and closer. So this, yeah, that,
I knew those two were your top
yeah, I
two
know, yes.
going in.
No, but so like,
Um,
and I understand not many people love this movie, especially Lost in Translation, as much as I do, and it's fine. I understand that.
I think it's a great film.
Hmm.
I really do. And Sofia Coppola has such a unique voice as a filmmaker. And I think it's not enough female filmmakers get enough praise and acknowledgement.
Yeah.
And she had so much stink to get over from, I blame her father
Yes.
for putting her in that situation with The Godfather Part 3. Um, you don't have to be a great actor to be a great filmmaker.
Hmm.
And Sofia Coppola is a great filmmaker.
She
And
is.
some of her films really speak to me. And Lost in Translation is a beautiful film.
Hmm.
And Bill Murray, I love Bill Murray. Bill Murray might also be a very perfect person and kind of an asshole, but like the he channels the melancholy in this perfectly. But no, this wouldn't work without Scarlett Johansson. And I don't think there's a lot of young actors that are that age because like she was born in 84. When did this movie come out?
2003. So yeah, you were like
We're
she was,
literally 18, 19 years old
yeah, so you were
when
right,
this
yeah.
movie was made.
Hmm.
So like an 18, 19-year-old doing this is wild, wild to me.
Impressive.
And she feels like she's been around for so long, and yet she is still in her early 40s.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
She's like 42 years old.
Hmm.
Her birthday is 3 days after mine, too.
Nice. Look at that. So okay,
Oh.
but so we've done it. So do you want to just quickly shout out some of the other picks that didn't make the list, but maybe some people would be surprised that you love so much?
Okay, surprised. I don't know. Like, I literally shouldn't have put my list away. Some of the other things up there, like The Shining, The Godfather,
Hmm.
The Untouchables.
Hmm.
I absolutely love that film. I think it's De Palma's best, which I don't think most people would put that as De Palma's best, but I've loved that for a long time. Black Narcissus
Oh, I need to see that.
from Alan Pressburger
Yeah,
is
yeah.
pretty high up there. Amadeus,
Oh yeah.
um, Nightmare Before Christmas, absolutely love it. I love animation a lot, so
Hmm.
there's definitely a lot of those up there. Um, my favorite, my highest ranking superhero movies are Logan and Captain America: Civil War.
Nice.
Um, I'm dumbfounded why people don't love that movie, but whatever. Skyfall is very
Hmm.
high up there. I'm a huge James Bond fan.
Hmm.
The Hustler is pretty high up there. Big Mel Brooks fan, so Young Frankenstein, and the Muppet Christmas Carol is absolute perfection.
Yes. Nice. I
That
only
is
have.
literally
Mhm.
in my top 50 of
Nice.
all time, as it should.
As it should. Yes. That became my Christmas classic, and I did not grow up watching that movie whatsoever, but it works. That works
Mm.
so well. So I prepared only a few also. So recent picks, Across the Spider-Verse. I thought that was brilliant, and I don't
Mm.
agree with the criticism that it's a 2.5 movies. It's not like does it like does it start the third movie a bit? Yes, but I think it sets it up and it actually accomplishes what it wants to because it's a Gwen story. So that's everything everywhere all at once. It's also a recent pick. But like from not so recent ones, I love Father of the Bride, the Steve Martin one. I love both of
Nice.
them because I grew up watching those movies. So that's one of the movies those two back to back must be one of my most rewatched movies when I was a child because those were our family comfort movies. Those two. There's a Hungarian movie called On Body and Soul from 2017, I believe, which is such a beautiful movie. That's just, it's on another wavelength to me, and it's so simple yet so elegant, and it's so quiet yet it's so loud. It's hard to describe. It's beautiful. I, like you, I grew up on The Mummy. When we mentioned it before,
Yes.
the Brendan Fraser Mummy, and I will make the case, Mummy Returns is a great fucking sequel. I don't even hate the kid. Like if I had to pick, yes, the
He wants
first one,
Luke wants to be clear. He does not hate a child.
no, because most child, to be fair, he is kind of annoying, but he sells it. He fucking sells it. And if I had to pick, probably the first one, but I love them both equally. They are both 10 out of 10 in my eyes. They are both perfect movies. The third one we don't talk about. It's fine.
We
So
can
like
talk about the fourth one coming out because Rachel Weisz is coming back.
I am cautiously optimistic, but I hope it's not gonna go to the way of legacy sequels where it's like, oh yeah, remember this, but now we old. I'm like, oh, please don't. Let's let it be good. Let it be good, but we can only hope.
You think Steven Summers is
I want him back. Like if like I don't know if anybody understands that kind of sense of like adventure the way he did with those two movies. Again, we don't talk about the third one.
rewatch? So at a specific time in my life when I was 13, 14 years old, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Van Helsing were two of my favorite movies. And specifically, Van Helsing channels that, like Steven Sommers still channels that energy. I rewatched that recently. That is not like I got cynical about them when I hit college when I started watching like real films.
Yeah,
But like back like Van Helsing's still a great time, and there's some great stuff in it. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen still a little bit messy, and some of the casting's not great, but still
mm,
also fun time. I think though we've lost that sense of wonder and adventure in
yeah.
movies, and it makes me sad.
I never was like high on League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, but I've always had a soft spot for Van Helsing because it was mostly shot in Prague with some Czech actors. And again, it's schlock, but it's a good kind of schlock. It's a good kind of like it's not the best adventure movie, but it's like it's fun as fuck. It's fun,
Yep.
and like
And
is
that
it?
score is amazing.
I need to,
Like
I need to
it
rewatch
has no
that.
right to go so hard.
Yeah.
And also Kate Beckinsale
hmm Let
in
me
leather.
say less. Say less. And yeah,
That and an underworld at around the same time was an interesting time to be,
fan
in
of
puberty.
yeah. It's like it's like the Van Helsing crew saw Underworld because that was a year before. Like, well, she works well with the letters, so we gave her letter pens. Sorted.
Yeah,
Costume department sorted.
and Dracula's brides. It's like here's the thing: vampirism is very sex focused,
Yep.
and if people try to tell you that it's not, then they're wrong. So like they know what they were doing.
Just
And there's a lot of cleavage with those brides in that movie. I'm just like aggressive cleavage. I'm just like they know what they're doing here. They know
talk.
their demographic.
Yep. Talk about Dracula's brides. Just go watch Bram Stoker's Dracula from Francis Ford Coppola.
Monica Bellucci.
Which yeah, one of them is literally Monica Bellucci in like
Bellucci.
90s. It's like, yeah, yeah. But before this gets too horny,
Yes. I think we've passed that point, but it's
yeah.
time to reel it back.
But no, like a couple of other ones. Just this is
Yep.
like 1A, 1B, like what he did with Shrek. For me, it's Trading Places and Coming to America, two Eddie Murphy classics, just bona fide classics. I grew up
Same
watching.
universe.
Yes, they are. They are,
Yeah,
and
that was wild of them.
it is. It was, but it's a great decision. It's a great fucking decision.
Long
And
before Nutty Professor, watch Eddie Murphy play a bunch of people in Coming to
yep,
America.
yep. Coming and Trading
Aha!
Places is also awesome. Like both of them, you cannot miss. Like if you put either of those on, you will have a good time.
Yep.
And the last one I would like to shout out is Dead Poet Society. Dead Poet Society is great little movie. I think many people don't talk about as often now, and it's a shame.
I have 4 movie posters in my office at work.
Ah,
One's a Lord of the Rings, one's a Fury Road, one is an Interstellar,
mm,
and the fourth one is Dead Poet Society. Carpe
nice.
diem, lads. Seize
Carpe
the
diem.
day.
Robin
Make your
Williams.
lives extraordinary.
Like young Ethan Hawke, like
Yes.
and like Robin Williams is playing a teacher, and everybody wants to have everybody. Or and if you're a teacher, everybody
Mr. Keating.
aspires to be. Just yeah.
Now, I have an important question. One of my other favorite movies, RoboCop.
Ah,
Who's a more horrible person, Kurtwood Smith in RoboCop or Kurtwood Smith in Dead Poet Society?
probably the Point
Object.
Society.
And in the other one, he's a murderer.
Yeah,
He's a whole bunch of stuff.
yeah.
Oh man, Kurtwood Smith, Red Foreman.
It was no, it's. But this has been a blast. I think that kind of wraps up first episode of this new, Flicks and Chill. Before we say goodbye, Shane, let's give people some quick recommendation for something you watched recently you would want to shout out as being, worth everybody's time.
Mel Brooks, the 99-year-old man. It is a quote unquote 2-part series documentary, which is crap. It's just a documentary that they cut in 2 pieces so HBO can play it over 2 nights. So I count it as a film. It's about 3 hours and 40 minutes though combined. It is directed by Judd Apatow,
Mhm.
and I laughed, I cried. The romance between Mel Brooks and Anne Bancroft was the most beautiful thing that ever happened in humanity. And this film shows that. And I'm such a Mel Brooks fan. This was so worth the 3 hours and 40 minutes of watching that last night. Just dive in, just enjoy it. It'll make you laugh and make you feel some things.
That sounds good. I'm also a Mel Brooks fan. As you know, I'm a Mel Brooks fan, so I need to search it up. And yeah, for me, like I've talked about Sentimental Value, I've talked about other Oscar stuff, no other choice. But so I'm gonna mention this one. 28 years, The Bone Temple. If January keeps on this kind of trajectory where we get bangers like this in January, 2026 will be a great year because I didn't expect to love this movie as much as I ended up loving this movie. What Ralph Fiennes does towards the end to the tune of one famous band, and it's just it's just chaos in the most beautiful, haunting way, and it fits everything this movie is going for. The religion versus science aspect, the good versus evil aspect, and if the last 5 minutes don't like I didn't have it spoiled, so I didn't know this was happening. But that
Me neither.
immediately got me pumped. I'm like, you know what? This is such an obvious cliffhanger, but fuck it, give me that third movie. Give it to me yesterday. I was so pumped to see what's happening, and I cannot wait. I think now it's been confirmed that Danny Boyle is returning to finish off this trilogy again.
Except it's not making money. And I'm really hoping that it gets word of mouth enough to make enough
Yeah,
money for them to greenlight it.
I hope so too, because we need, with Samson, with, rest of the Jimmy
Like,
gang, Spike, of course, and again, the surprise, somebody else. We need to have that wrapped up. And 28 years, The Bone Temple is a great movie. And I was so afraid because Januaries are where movies go to die and hide because they are bad.
there's some bad so
Yes.
far this January. But this is my first 5 star of the year right off the bat.
Yep.
Second straight January. Um,
Nice.
I know technically you got it before we did, but last January one was Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul. So
Nice.
day one, 2025, I had a 5 star movie. I'm just like, beautiful. But no, this Bone Temple is incredible,
Mhm.
and I love it to pieces. And I cannot wait for the third one. Nia DaCosta,
Yes.
give her more interesting projects. Not that I
Yes.
didn't enjoy the Marvels, not that I think she really directed the Marvels. I'm pretty sure Marvel directed Nia DaCosta to direct the Marvels. But
As it
like,
happens. Yep.
yeah. I love Candyman, her Candyman film too. So like I'm interested to see what she does next. But Bone Temple and Jack O'Connell, man, doing
Hmm.
this in Sinners,
Yep, yep.
I didn't think he could outdo himself from Sinners, and he did.
Hmm.
I thought what he did. There's one conversation between him and Ray Fiennes that was incredible. I
Yep.
could have just watched that scene for a half an hour of a movie.
100%. I know to your point about Nia DaCosta, like I liked the Candyman okay, but it was because of several scenes and her sense of direction. I was like, oh, who is behind this? Because I'm like, this is very intriguing. Even though I don't love the movie, I respect it. And like I'm higher than most on Hedda from last year. I thought that was a
It was pretty great.
yeah, I know it hasn't been received well, but I thought it was a very interesting and not only performance piece from Tessa Thompson, but also Nia DaCosta has such a unique eye for scenes and how she frames shots. Like even in the Bone Temple, the beautiful shot of the Bone Temple is slightly it's not centered. Because I know these things. I my eye is very good on these things. I'm like, but this works because it's slightly skewed. It's slightly not something is slightly off about it. And Nia DaCosta has that kind of eye where like, she uses the camera to tell you, hey, something is slightly off here. You see this beautiful temple. I and many other directors would like center it perfectly, and it's just slightly to the left. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And that's the first thing I noticed. I was like, damn. And I mean, and there's quite a few choices in this movie. I'm like, I love this. I love this choice. I love this choice. So yeah, no, Bone Temple would be mine. And yeah, I think that's the end. So Shane, some shameless plugs. Now, where can the people find you?
People can head over to the Wasteland Reviewer YouTube channel where I review all types of films and have weekly shows as well. I have my wastelandreviewer.blog, which is my website, and they can also follow me on Instagram, Wasteland Reviewer, where I shamelessly plug all the things that I do on Instagram and on my website. I have my link tree so you can check out everything, whether it's on SPDM Crew, Sif Pop, or Knock on Wood Film.
Nice. And for me, as always, in movies lost on Letterboxd or here every other Friday, but this time with Shane. So I hope you enjoyed the first episode. Give us some feedback if what you enjoyed, what you didn't. We'll listen. And yeah, this podcast is part of SPDM Crew Media, and special thanks goes to High Flyer Creative for designing my logo or our logo. And to see what else they have happening, visit highflyercreative.com. And until next time, bye bye.
Bye bye.